Taylor, Gunston and Lonigan, and Mitchell starting on Enright at the moment at centre-half forward. So here we go. The Hawks and the Cats from the MCG. It doesn't get much better than this. And from the start, it's Stevenson winning the first tap for the Cats, straight into congestion. And it will be bounced again by umpire Brett Roseberry. Bit of pushing and shoving. Steve Johnson in there for the Cats. Jordan Lewis for Hawthorn. The bounce probably favours Hawthorn a little bit, but Stevenson did win the tap down, still inside the centre circles, off the ground by Steve Johnson. Ricochets back into the middle. Now it's a Hawthorn football. Sewell through traffic. First meaningful kick for the night, up to centre-half forward, but it's Lonigan marking for the Cats. From defensive 50 comes the member side with the kick. Out in front of Smets, who's tackled well there. It goes towards the boundary. Stratton did okay, but in support for the Cats is Stevenson, getting a hand pass to Mackie. Now to Enright, defensive members wing. Kicks towards half forward. Chapman the target, it carries him. Bounces off Stokes' chest, and then the good smother from Birchall sees the ball go over the boundary line between wing and half forward for the Cats, attacking to the city end.
60 seconds gone, ball spun back into play. Both ruckmen more interested in each other. The umpire spotted a holding decision. It'll go Stevenson's way. And he's got it for Geelong at right half forward. Lays off a short hand pass to Selwood. Pumps it inside, attacking 50 towards right forward pocket. Johnson gathers the bouncing football, snaps around the body, and he has kicked a ripper. What a start for Geelong. A minute 35 gone on Friday night footy on Grandstand AFL, and it's the Cats, one straight 6. Hawthorn yet to score. No problems after last week's bump for Stevie J.
I thought the intensity at the start, the nervousness when Stokes put the chest, but it carried beautifully through. It was a great kick coming up out of half forward. He decked it, put it on the ground, forced it out of bounds. From the throw in, Hale gave. It was a very silly free kick to go, which Stevenson gave off to Selwood. Selwood put it in the dangerous ground, and only Stevie J could do what he did. Coming across the face, gathered and did the left foot. I didn't think it was going to make it back, but she curled back in the finish.
A left foot inside out torpedo snap. I'm not sure whether it gets much more difficult than that. Back in the middle with umpire Steve McBurney. The tap was to Hale of the Hawks. Whitecross coming off the square, couldn't get there first. Stevenson did for the Cats, almost got tackled without the football. Now there's a free kick, and it's going Geelong's way for holding the football. Stevenson takes the hand pass, he gives it to Selwood, who goes short to Steve Johnson. Still inside the centre square. Selwood kept running, and he marks front part of the square, plays on, gets away from Sewell, hurries a kick towards full forward, not a good kick, and Schoenmakers marks low down for the Hawks.
Yeah, Sewell on Selwood just put the pressure on. Schoenmakers, that's good, isn't it? To get his body in the right spot and to outmark Hawkins first off. Terrific.
Schoenmakers towards right half back. The Cats have won it again. It comes to Chapman. Chapman will send it back towards left full forward. Hawkins stretches out the right arm. Couldn't gather. Snap on goal. They've got another, the Cats. Christensen. Wowee. 2 goals in the opening 3 and a bit minutes. The Cats are 2 straight 12. Hawthorn yet to score.
Yeah, look, the Geelong Football Club are up and about. Their contesting has been sensational. Their spread from the contest has been excellent. They're winning the ball across half-back. What Geelong are doing is spreading hard forward, kicking long to the hot spot, and they've got crummers hitting the front of the pack hard. It's not just the crumbing efforts by Christensen and Johnson. It's the fact that when they were in position to crumb, there was no Hawthorn player within 2 or 3 metres, David.
No.
Now, if they keep up that type of running intensity at the fall of the ball, they're going to cause all sorts of trouble for Hawthorn's defence.
And that's Hawthorn's weakness.
We've played nearly 4 minutes. Hawthorn's only touched it 3 times. Mitchell's kick from the clearance is smothered. Stevenson takes it for the Cats. Hand passes to Selwood again. Towards full forward. Hawkins with the one arm. Good body work. Couldn't complete the mark. Crumbs to Burgoyne of the Hawks. Kicks it as quickly as he can out towards halfback. Young in a one-on-one there with Sheringham. Sheringham assumes the front position. He's working it okay. Now has to tap it away as he fell over. A contest develops. There's a free kick. It's going Hawthorn's way. It's coming out to Clinton Young. He'll take it at halfback. So at the moment, it's 16 disposals Geelong, 4 to Hawthorn. As Young goes short to Suckling, who goes all the way back to fullback to Guerra, who marks. He looks up. Smith presents. He goes in that direction and he reaches up and takes the mark in front of his eyes. And immediately goes on, pokes a short pass over the top to Burgoyne, who draws an opponent, then hand passes further on to Stratton. He's kicked down towards Rioli. He stretches and marks in front of Scarlett, and he wants to go on quickly.
He does so, uses the foot pass and finds Hodge. Inside attacking 50, strong lead, Roughhead. Good spoil, couldn't quite take the mark, it's still there. Inside the left forward pocket, Taylor's hand pass into traffic, has to try to lock it in again. Players piling on top of the football, umpire says, I'll have it. Ball up. Left forward pocket for Hawthorn.
How good was Taylor's spoil? I thought Roughhead had it swallowed and just got the fish through. Clean knock away.
And the bounce, Stevenson got the tap down for Geelong. Mitchell's out after it, gathers for the Hawks, gave it to Shields. Kicks high inside attacking 50, backing back, unable to take the mark. The Cats have got themselves a free kick anyway. Holding decision.
Is Scarlett playing on Rioli? Is that a match up that I saw?
So Hunt.
Well, he ended up on him, but Sirioli's been on ball and just slided forward now, and Sam Mitchell, I think, will come up onto the ball.
Taylor Hunt went to Podsiadly at right half back. Taylor Hunt kicked towards right half forward. Defensive mark taken by Stratton. You got the free kick anyway.
See, Stratton just relaxed a bit early, then he didn't go hard enough, strong enough.
Ugly kick towards the logo. Burgoyne's there to clean up. Gave it on to Hale. Clever hand pass to Mitchell. Oh, holding the ball decision. He was run down Sewell. Strong tackle by Stevenson. It comes to Chapman. Kicks towards centre half forward.
And Bartel marks just inside the centre square. He goes to fall forward, and Hawkins marked in front of Schoenmakers, 45 metres out from goal on a 45-degree angle.
Schoenmakers has got to get a hand. He's got to get touch on Hawkins. He's got no chance over the ground once the body gets in front of him. He's got to be with him at the start. Gave him a 3 or 4 gap and a look at the ball all over.
Once again, Chris, the pressure from the Cats in the midfield created the turnover.
Absolutely, and the spread forward, Hawkins leading up at the ball and midfielders sliding back into the space behind him. It's magnificent forward line movement.
Tom Hawkins kicking to the city end from 45 metres. He hits it well. It's straight through the middle. He's a new man, Tom Hawkins. The Cats are 3 goals. Hawthorn yet to score after 7 minutes.
It's been the contest, hasn't it, David? The tackling, the numbers at the ball, the quick movement, the spread hard forward, the repetitive leading up forward. They are in sync and they're up and about. And you always run the gauntlet as a coach because they've started Mitchell outside, want to get Sirioli up and about starting on ball. Geelong get off to a flyer. You know, that's the risk you run as a coach.
It is, and Mitchell's back in now, but the gate might have already been shut.
Well, it's 3 in a row, and if this keeps up, it's going to be hard for Hawthorn.
Yeah, good night.
Inside 50s, 5-1 in favour of the Cats. Bounce again to restart. Roughhead goes up, tapped it down to Mitchell. Hand pass to Roughhead. Gets a hand pass backwards. Knocked forward by Whitecross towards centre half forward. Cats have got numbers then. Chiopolo did well. Tapped it down. Taylor Hunt cleans up for the Cats. To Stevenson, then just punched forward by Josh Hunt into the centre square. Taking it, Gibson for the Hawks. It's now with Mitchell. Ugly kick inside attacking 50. Bounces away towards Rioli. Here's trouble. Kicks around the body towards the goal square. Scarlett got a fist in there. Lonergan cleans up for Geelong. Finds Enright by hand. Sweeping hand pass to Selwood. Hurried kick towards right half back. Stratton marks for the Hawks. He'll put it back into attack. Goes across half forward. Finds Mitchell. Mitchell steps forward. Short pass inside attacking 50. Mark not taken. Lewis put it down. Tries to gather again. Set upon by 2 Cats. Scarlett was in there as well. Called for holding the ball. It comes out instead. Goes towards the boundary line. Mitchell's got it. Got originally from Gunston. Umpires spotted the ball just over the boundary line. It was oh so close.
Gee whiz, well, he couldn't see through Mitchell. I don't know whether somebody further up gave the call, but we were in the same position as the umpire. The umpire couldn't see whether Mitchell had actually taken it out. To me, it looked down the line. It looked an unbelievably clever hand pass.
Mitchell up to 6 disposals, thrown in. One down by Roughhead to the front. Going through with Smets without the football. Selwood, though, hand pass to Duncan. Duncan up towards Bartel. In fact, it's Stokes has taken the mark. He kicks on towards Hawkins in the pocket, running back with a flight. He can't keep it in. It's gone out of bounds for a throw in 45 metres around from Geelong's goal.
so much cleaner, Chris, aren't they? Geelong in their handling, aerial,
79% efficiency to 65. Geelong's way early.
Just terrific.
It's
really
usually
first
the other
class.
way around involving Hawthorn.
Yep.
Podsiadly jumps over the top, wins the tap down. Bartel somehow gets a hand pass towards Johnson. Initially fumbled. Still got a hand pass away to Podsiadly. Now to Smets. Through traffic. Wants to give the hand pass. Does to Steve Johnson. Kicks to the top of the square. It's almost a mark. But it's gone over for a behind. 10 minutes gone. Nearly a mark to Hawkins again on the goal line. But it is Geelong 3-1-19. Hawthorn yet to score. Selwood and Mitchell, 6 possessions each. The cream rising to the top early.
And that efficiency with kicking, it's not just about the poor kicking, it's about Hawthorn haven't had many kicks where they can share the ball around like they usually do.
Guerra with the kicking, short to Birchall, moves it on beyond defensive 50 to Lewis, goes to the left half back spot where he found an uncontested mark by Burgoyne who tried to go down the line. Seen out, punched by Enright over the boundary line for a throw-in, just shy of the interchange gates. So right on centre wing below our broadcast position, put back into play. Push, no doubt at all, against the Cats. They take the free kick quickly, the Hawks. Mitchell puts it towards left half forward. Defensive mark taken by Josh Hunt.
The two old blokes I reckon struggled. Hunt and Chapman were terrific against Adelaide last week, and both have started well.
So from the right half back spot, the Cats go down the line, flying. Walker couldn't take the mark, spills out. Clever hand pass from Johnson, running onto it. Bartel sends it long to a one-on-one at full forward. Hawkins battling away against Schoenmakers. Couldn't take it, but he tapped it out for Chapman. Tries the remarkable from the right forward pocket and hits the right goalpost. That would have been something incredible just to behind. The Cats are 3-2-20. The Hawks yet to score. 11.5 gone opening term.
Guerra, a dangerous kick down the middle towards Sewell. Couldn't take the mark. Now a contest at centre half back. Comes through to Shields. Getting the handball from Suckling. Shields kicks towards Lewis. Great spoil from Scarlett. He's bashed it out to the southern wing to Mackie. Mackie back inside the 50 for the Cats. Over Christensen's head. Hawkins taps it further forward towards Duncan. Couldn't run onto the footy. There'll be a bounce. 40 out from Geelong's goal.
Their defensive, Chris, there, the spoiling of the ball being kicked to the man on the league has been unbelievably good, haven't they?
Absolutely, and Taylor and Scarlett have been the leading players in that.
Roughhead grabs it out of the ruck. Hand pass out to Guerra. Hurried kick. It's cut off there by Hunt. That's Taylor. Hunt kicking to Chapman. He's marked it 15 metres out from goal. Now he's going to swing around here on the right foot and kicks the goal. He just made sure there was a bit of space in the corridor to open up the angle and kick Geelong's fourth. 4-2-26. Hawthorn has not scored 13 minutes into the opening quarter. It's the exact opposite to what we saw last week with the Hawks.
Now, Geelong look to be a team in a frenzy. I just want to say over the last 4 weeks, they're 14th in the AFL in winning contested possession. Geelong are 14th in the AFL in winning contested possession. And they are that far ahead of this team, which is 4th in the AFL. It's not funny. And the bloke that'll be loving this is the plasterer in the coach for the coach's box, because the way things are going, Al's going to do a double-handed kick, the whole karate, kung fu, Bruce Lee special.
Roughhead watched it drop past him from the centre bounce, was able to gather for the Hawks, went inside attacking 50, and able to take the mark again. Lewis, Scarlett cleans up for the Cats, onto Kelly's centre wing, kicks inside the centre square, running with the football, Johnson marks. In the attacking corner of the square, puts it inside the forward 50, leading out, juggled mark, dropped by Christensen. The Cats missed their chance, it came out to Roughhead. Got it on in turn to Gibson, kicks the Hawks towards centre wing. The spoil at the back of a pack came from Enright, ball towards the boundary line. It's over for a throw-in, left half back for Hawthorn, who, a bit like Boris Johnson, are stuck with nowhere to go. Geelong are 4-2-26. The Hawks yet to score. 14 gone opening turn.
Thrown in between wing and half forward for the Cats members side. Stevenson winning the tap. Steve Johnson got a lot of space here. In fact, he even takes a bounce. Kicks to full forward. Podsiadly in front. Spoil from Gibson at the front of the pack. Guerra's first there. Tackle comes from Chapman, but it's high.
Now, Hawthorn are a shambles, David. They had one short at that clearance in their back half, and Hawthorn had an extra forward. And that forward just ran off to get the number up around the midfield. They're in a shambles all over the place right now.
Guerra decides to go the southern side. Gunston on about 100-metre lead takes the mark, but he is at half-back. He'll kick to the wing. He wants Hale. Selwood comes late and affects the spoil. Christensen with the crumbs. Inboard hand pass back to Selwood, to Duncan. He marks it 60 metres out from goal. I thought he was going to wheel onto his right straight away. He decides to go back and have a look and just chip short to Taylor Hunt. And he has marked all alone 45 metres out from goal.
I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Hawthorn players who are nowhere near an opponent. Just
he's given the handball. It's gone long, very long at the goal of Duncan. It was the set play. Taylor Hunt wasn't confident. He saw a teammate that was. And it's 5 to the Cats. 5-2-32 to no score after 15 minutes.
Well, that's the difference in tuning in. We could see that happening. Almost a designated kick received. Hawthorn stood round and watched it happen, and then they started to point at each other as to who was responsible for that player. It's not a good look right at this moment for the Hawthorn Football Club. Well, they're going to lose by the amount that we thought Hawthorn were going to win by.
Yep. Look, credit to Geelong. They've been brilliant at the things that count most in a footy match. The 4x100 relay team, the weapons of mass destruction, had a bad one, and that's what we're seeing out here with Hawthorn at the moment.
It's an incredible start for the Cats. Either Ruckman got a telling tough. Cyril Rioli said, I'll have it. Kick the Hawks long. Inside attacking 50. Ball allowed to bounce. Slapped out by Hodge in the left forward pocket. Gunston gathers. Hand passes to Hodge. Tries to go around the body. The ball was touched. He kicked from the left forward pocket and it bounced into the left hand behind post. Throw in. Deep into attack. Hawks have not scored. 16 minutes gone. Hale front position. Down to Sewell. Got a hand pass back to Hodge. Quick hand pass to Young. He lost it. Ball spills to ground. Cats try to get away with it through Kelly. Got a hand pass away to Stokes. Stokes the clearing kick towards centre wing. Stratton back for the Hawks. Got a fist to it. Onto it quickly. Christensen explodes onto the football. Hand pass. Bounces off Podsiadly. Had to wait. Awkward bounce for him. Hawks with a chance to clean up. Stratton gathers. Loses possession under real pressure. Christensen again. Hand pass across half forward. Now to Stokes. Long to a one-on-one at full forward. Stretching. Unable to take it. Smets. Burgoyne cleans up for the Hawks to Mitchell left back pocket. Goes on a short run, by hand again, now with Burgoyne who goes into the centre square.
Gee, Burgoyne was really good there, and now the Hawks on the build. Rioli from the middle, kicks towards full forward Lewis, a lovely little touch on to Bruce, and Hawthorn finally on the board as he runs into the goal square and kicks it into the second tier of the southern stand.
Well, we'll say, it's well earned, some terrific work. Mitchell got under real pressure around centre half back. He had, I reckon, 4 different looks, walking back and sideways with the ball to try and find a way out of it. I couldn't see from here. I couldn't see how. He found the way out by a little lateral kick, and eventually they got the bloke over the top and running at goal, and it was a terrific finish for the work that was done. Mitchell started that under enormous duress in the bird half to get the first little one away to start the sequence to go forward. Fantastic work.
And Burgoyne got the punching, Chris, and then set it up with a kick to the middle. That was good footy.
Yeah, look, if Hawthorn can come back from this, it's one of the great wins of the season for them because they were getting hammered.
The margin is now 26 points. It's in favour of the Cats. 18 gone opening term. Stevenson went early, got the tap down though, gathered it himself. Hand pass to the Cats to Kelly. Nicely worked. Geelong go forward through Mackie. Inside the attacking 50. No mark in a big pack. It spills out to Selwood. Cats have got it again. Comes to Smets. Hand passes to Stevenson. Kicks towards the left forward pocket. Hawkins watches the ball bounce by him. Tries to turn. Stratton got there first. He's tackled over the boundary line by Walker. Throwing deep in the left forward pocket for the Cats.
It's an intensity that Cats started with last week too, and it fell away as the game went. They were able to regenerate it later in the quarter, so not out of it.
Hale wins the tap to Birchall. Hand pass to Sewell. Quick kick back towards the middle. 2 Cats there, and it's a juggling mark taken by Lonigan. Inside the centre square. He wants to play on, gets a little jittery, and his kick is not good in the middle. Hunt couldn't take the mark, but it's okay. Enright's there in support. Hand pass to Taylor. Little iffy hand pass, bounces okay to Scarlett. Short kick is a good kick. Steve Johnson marks just inside the centre square. He's telling his teammates, I'm just going to settle things down. I'm going to try something creative. And it's a little hand pass over the top to Scarlett. Scarlett kicks to Chapman, low down, got it on the chest. On the lead, 35 metres out from goal, just right of centre.
I suppose they knew what they were doing. I had no idea what Johnson was doing. I think Scarlett sort of knew that he might be a lateral use with the hand over the top, etc. And he delivered it, and Chapman's on the lead in front. Chapman's playing good football right at the moment. The decision-making and execution under pressure has just been superb. I love our game played like this.
Paul Chapman has already kicked one, kicking to the city end from 40 metres out. This is what he does best. He's got 2 of them. And the Cats have got 6 of them. 6-2, 38 Geelong. Hawthorn 1 straight 6. We just tick into time on of the first term here at the MCG. It's like the team wearing blue and white hoops have won 3 of the last 5 premierships.
No, it certainly looks that way. And look, that was a very good finish of Paul Chapman's. But the kick inside 50 from Matthew Scarlett was an outstanding kick. And the reason it was an outstanding kick, because he disguised the kick. The ball was handballed to him from Steve Johnson. He looks up. Defenders think he's going to get long. There's nothing on short. He actually waits the kick into a position before Paul Chapman got there. And Chapman, Scarlett, a million games of experience, disguised everything and create his goal for Geelong.
Hale won the tap down for the Hawks. Sewell overran it. Mitchell clever, just slapped it along the ground, gave it to Rioli, then to Hale, long to full forward in front. Taylor won it down for the Cats. Good defence from Harry. Found Mackie, goes beyond defensive 50, and it's marked at left half back. Cats with a chance to cool things down. Sheringham back to Josh Hunt, marks at left fullback. Looks for an option. Nothing short presents itself, so he'll kick long to the wing. In front, Mackie couldn't take the mark. It spills down. Smets is there to clean up. Hand pass, a clever one. Sheringham with it once more. Takes a bounce, goes past centre wing. Hand passes again. Now to Christensen. Kicks into the left forward pocket. Chapman! He was in the right spot. And the pass was spot on.
Now he'll do a Johnson kick here. This will be interesting. This is the kick that will be remembered and named after the player. He'll run towards the middle of the ground and kick it off the back end and banana it through. We've got Geelong players doing this all the time now, and they rarely miss. It's fantastic.
It's what he's going to do. He works it around the body. He's got his third. An incredible start for Geelong. 22 minutes gone in the opening term. Their lead is out to 38 points. They're 7-2-44. The Hawks 1 straight 6. Grandstand AFL, the MCG, our experts David Parkin and Chris Connolly.
Now, David, you're like Nostradamus then, because everything you said, he ticked every box. That was 3 back leads. And Geelong are exploding forward with the belief that either Hawthorn don't have the capacity to defend us, or I'm just too quick for you anyway. Because it was 3 kicks to back leads, bang, 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 straight through. Their spread forward's been incredible.
Stevenson jumped early and he's given away a free kick in the ruck contest. So Roughhead will take it for the Hawks. And he just kicks it as long as he can. Towards full forward, Bruce getting back, but also going back with the flight was Harry Taylor, who takes the mark. He goes short and it's okay. And the mark has been taken for the Cats by Stokes. He's at defensive 50, just spins the footy around in his hands, and then just goes out to Podsy Adley, who just sort of saunters out to the southern wing to take the mark. Next one towards Walker, also Selwood, who floated in from the side and took the mark. Joel Selwood coming up for his 9th disposal. He goes short, and Podsy Adley kept running, dropped the mark. Trailing in was Gibson, and he's able to take possession of the football close to the boundary, shrugs the tackle, hand passes to Whitecross. Hawthorn out of trouble.
Kickers down the outer side towards right half forward. Fine defensive mark again. Taylor, left half back for the Cats. He's been very impressive. All the damage has been done at the other end, but he's been solid when he's been called into play. Kick towards the wing. Marked by Selwood, who puts it to left half forward. Podsy Adley battling up against Gibson. Neither player can take possession. It's out and over for a boundary throwing at left half forward. The Hawks had a record quarter-time margin last week against Essendon. At the moment, Geelong are only 2 points off their record ever first quarter margin against the Hawks. From the throw-in, hurried kick by Shields, bounces right on the logo, gathered nicely by Lewis, hands it on again towards Sewell, out towards Puopolo. He's 60 metres out, puts it into the right forward pocket, bouncing Footy. Still there to be won. A slick hand pass from Gunston, found its way towards Lewis, and he couldn't quite take it, and he gets a push in the back.
Lucky. I'll take it, but it's lucky. Really.
It was over the top, and Lonergan came in to give it away.
Yeah, I just waiting on this guy. I'm just going to ask the producer if I can have the rest of the night off and go home and watch the Olympics. Not that I'm a bad loser or upset about this first quarter. Whew.
The men's quad sculls coming up in about 14 minutes' time. The Australians, of course, involved. So Lewis has got the free from the right forward pocket. The Hawks desperately needed a goal, and he obliges. 26 minutes gone opening term. The Hawks are 2 straight 12. They trail the Cats 7-2-44.
And Chris, it's not as if it's basketball. I wouldn't think if they stopped the game now and interviewed the coaches like a post-game interview, I don't think they say, I don't think so. They say, it's another game of basketball, just scoring who can outdo each other. I think there's been sensational work by Geelong in the contest. Their clearances have been as good as I've seen. Their usage, take it in, has been, as you suggested, good. And they've defended brilliantly in their back half when the balls come in, whether defending with a punch or being able to take a contested mark. They've been sensational across the board.
Talking about basketball, if this was basketball, Alistair Clarkson would be calling for a timeout. Back in the middle, it's Walker for the Cats getting the clearance. Chapman in the pack, jumped early, couldn't complete the mark. At ground level, it's Hawthorn winning out with Gibson. Getting the hand pass from Guerra. Then he got dispossessed, and Steve Johnson said thanks very much. And from 45, he's kicked another one for the Cats. He's got 2. 2 goals, 10 disposals for a man that got concussed last week in the opening 5 seconds of the match. Geelong 8-2-50, Hawthorn 2 straight 12, 27 minutes gone first term.
Well, Gibson won the ball and tried to evade the Geelong opponent. I thought, well, that's courageous. Have a look in the centre and try and get the ball, get the game back on your terms. But he kicked it straight into Steve Johnson. What I liked about Steve Johnson was the take, but also he just bought a few seconds to line the goals up and delivered. And it was a major faux pas.
Tim Hodges is on the boundary.
Yeah, Clint, some concern for the Cats. For the second time this term, Alan Christensen came off. His right shoulder was heavily strapped and he's gone down into the room. So Stephen Motlop just looked at the doc and said, do you want me to get ready? And he said, no, just stay there for a little bit.
Whitecross has the ball for the Hawks in the middle of the ground, wrapped up strongly. Good tackling. Kelly was in there, so too Bartel. There'll be a ball up just on the outer edge of the centre circles. Hale against Walker. Hale won it down. Mitchell went through, couldn't take it. Ball just knocked forward by the Cats. Still bouncing towards centre half forward. Eventually it's gathered by Hawthorn. Oh, the hand pass from Young intercepted. Danger times now. Kelly, Stokes, hand pass again. Now with Selwood towards Chapman. Mackey's at right half forward. Spots a target. Smets takes the mark. Or Duncan rather, beg your pardon.
Young got the ball because he dropped in behind the clearance. They're putting their wingman back loose in defence. Hawthorn, we haven't seen that all year from them, so they're really putting up the defensive measures. And again, the kick inside 50 by Mackey, just excellent.
And this boy is a good kick.
Mitch Duncan averages a goal a game, kicks on its way. He keeps that record intact. Who would have thought, as we approach quarter time, that it would be Geelong leading by 44 points, 9-2-56 to the Hawks, 2 straight 12.
David, back in 2008 against Melbourne, it was our first game against Geelong here on a Friday night at the MCG, and Geelong kicked 10 in the first quarter. They can hit the scoreboard when they're up and about.
There is some alarming statistics here. The tackles at the moment, Geelong 17, Hawthorn 6. Inside 50, 17-9 Geelong's way. Disposals 96-74 Geelong's way. Efficiency 85% Geelong, 68% Hawthorn. It's almost the perfect quarter from the Cats. From the restart, it's another clearance to Kelly, who on the bounce gets it to Smeds, who kicks the full forward. Shoemakers drops the mark. Guerra came in for the Hawks in support, weaves through traffic, snaps it round his body, looking for the boundary and finding it. And the umpire, McBurney, says throw it in. Extraordinary football. Still a chance, really, for the Cats to kick that 10th goal. Thrown in between wing and half forward for the Cats. To the back, it's a free kick to Geelong. It's coming back from a ruck situation. It's going to be taken by Stevenson, who kicks to the pocket. Podsiadly or Hawkins. Podsiadly's got it! One-on-one against Gibson. He was too strong, and he took it on his chest in the end once he out-bodied Gibson in the contest. He's 40 metres out from goal, if that, in the right forward pocket. Christensen comes back on for the second time with lots of tape around his right shoulder, but all eyes on Podsiadly. 30 minutes gone in the opening term. Podsiadly is one of the Cats that hasn't kicked a goal. Starts his approach now, a very deliberate approach. Kick on its way, it's leaking left, and it misses. And they miss out on that chance for a 10th goal. Geelong 9-3-57. Hawthorn 2 straight 12. 31 minutes now on the clock.
Still remarkable from Geelong. Just remarkable. Guerra with the kicking. Finds Hodge, right back pocket for Hawthorn. Towards the wing. Lewis came from behind in front, and seeing it over the boundary line was Enrights. Throwing it left half forward for the Cats. Ball back into play. Hale got two hands to it, won it down, and a free kick going against the Cats. They won't mind. And in 150 meetings between these two sides, Geelong's lead of 45 points is the greatest ever margin at quarter time. The Cats are 9-3-57. Hawthorn 2 straight 12. The goal kickers, Chapman with 3. 2 each to Duncan and Johnson, singles to Hawkins and Christensen. While for the Hawks, their 2 goal kickers, Lewis and Bruce. A simply incredible term by the Cats. They're up by 45 points.
In giving them first usage, and they made a very, very good choice for this game because Hale and Roughhead have not been able to cope.
Selwood 11 possessions, Steve Johnson 10 for the Cats, Mitchell 9 for Hawthorn, next best 6.
Hale wins the tap in the middle for the Hawks. No one can get a clean possession. The ball bounces out the back. Suckling's onto it. Hand passes to Rioli. Now to Shields. Puts the Hawks long towards the left forward pocket. Ball will be allowed to bounce by Scarlett. Nicely gathered by Gunston. Hand passes over his shoulder. Ball's there, and a high decision's been paid the way. It's going the way of the Cats. It's coming back to Hunt, and Josh Hunt's got it in the right back pocket. Moves it out to Duncan, now in defence. Takes the mark. Beyond defensive 50. Taylor running towards the boundary. Mark's about 55 out from his defensive goal. Moves it down the line again. Taylor had run on, and he takes the mark. He's got it for the Cats. Looks for Mackie. Has to slide onto his knees just shy of centre wing, and he'll bounce up. Goes by hand. Taylor runs by. Kicks high and long towards left half forward. Coming in from the side. Podsiadly attempted the mark, but waiting behind Hawkins emerges with the mark for the Cats.
Now he's taken a chest mark in a contested situation, in terms of 5 or 6 in the pack. The defence for Hawthorn is, really under pressure and misreading the ball off the boot and not working together. When you have a big winning margin, you've got to look at conversion. They're up around 60% and accuracy, 9-3. I mean, some big areas to get right. Geelong dominating.
From 50 out, a 45-degree angle. Tom Hawkins, that is just wonderful. A thumping kick for his second.
Well, you've caught it, Quint. It was fantastic.
Geelong by 51 points. They're 10-3-63. The Hawks are 2 straight 12. Minute 38 gone in the second term. Let's take you to the rowing finals, the men's quad sculls.
Germany in lane 6, and early in this race almost blanket across the course, and all crews seemingly off to a pretty good start here. Estonia, Croatia, Germany on the outside of the course in lanes 4, 5 and 6. They're the most favourable lanes, and Australia on the middle going along nicely early in this race. But I would say that probably Croatia and Germany out front, but Australia challenging for the lead early in this race. The Germans, the Croatians and the Australians filling up the top 3 placings early in this race through 150 metres.
Tim, it's a very big German crew, very heavy. They're the heaviest crew in this event. They've just taken a narrow lead at 250 metres.
All right, so it's Australia vying for the lead early in this race, but it's Germany out in front. They lead by a Canberra's from the crew on the inside. That is Croatia. So Croatia and Germany have the favourable lanes because of the wind, following the reallocation of lanes. And Australia in lane 3, currently in 3rd position, but going along nicely. And the Australian crew today is Christopher Morgan from Adelaide, Carsten Forsling from Melbourne Uni, James McRae from Murray Bridge in South Australia, and Dan Noonan from Mossman in Sydney, and formerly from Warren in New South Wales, but went to boarding school at St Ignatius College. As they come through 500 metres, it's Germany in first place, Croatia, Great Britain, Australia vying for 3rd with Great Britain. They're currently 4th, then Estonia and Poland. But a very narrow lead there for the Germans over the Croatians through 500 metres.
The Germans got that narrow lead early, and nothing's really changed since then. We're sitting in a good position. Although we're 4th, we're very close to the leading Germans. And we have a fantastic finish sprint, the Australian quad scull.
Yes, and the aim here for the Australians is to make sure that they maintain this position. They're currently in 3rd, and they've just moved ahead of Great Britain, who were in 3rd place just a moment ago through 500 metres. But it's Germany out in front, and Germany now leads by half a boat length. Croatia in 2nd place, and Croatia are the form crew through the year, unbeaten through the World Cups and the fastest qualifiers through the semis, heading into the final. And Germany lead by half a boat length across the course, and the Australians just vying with Great Britain for 2nd place at the moment, and Australia still 3rd. Great Britain just moving up on the inside of them in lane 2 into 2nd position. Australia a canvas behind Great Britain, but Australia well positioned, and Croatia back in 4th. It's still Germany though, as they approach 1,000 metres, the halfway point in this race, doing it comfortably at the moment by half a boat length. Remembering, of course, though, that Australia has a very, very good finish, so watch out here for Australia, and they are the reigning world champions.
Well, last year the Germans had a length on us, and we rode them down. It's only half a length at this stage. The Germans are only rating 34-35 in these tough cross conditions.
And coached by John Dryson, this Australian crew, as they come through 1,000 metres. It's Germany in first place, Croatia, Great Britain and Australia all vying for 2nd place at the moment. Very, very close between 2nd and 4th. And Australia currently slipping back to 4th position, but only almost by about a quarter of a canvas at this stage. It is still the German combination leading by a quarter of a boat length now, as Croatia start to make their move and Australia going with them.
Well, I think the lane 6 here is giving the Germans great running. They're just sliding away from the Croatians in lane 5 marginally. Australia now moving into 3rd.
Australia in 3rd position, just ahead of Great Britain by a canvas, but it is still the German combination out in front. And remembering, of course, that Germany right on the line caught a crab at last year's world titles in Bled, allowing Australia to come through and win the world championship. Germany out in front by half a boat length, Croatia in 2nd place, and Australia just shifting a little bit, moving into 3rd position quite comfortably.
Yes, and the Germans have bumped their rating. They've moved from 34 to 37.5, and Australia have done the same thing to tack on back. We're in bronze position at this stage.
So it's Dan Noonan, James McRae, Carsten Forsling and Christopher Morgan in the Australian boaters. They move towards 1,500 metres, and the Australians well placed at this stage. Still Germany out in front. They lead by a quarter of a boat length. In 2nd place, it's Croatia. Australia challenging for 2nd now in the inside of the course. This is a very good row by the Australians in lane 3.
Well, we're certainly challenging strongly in the less favoured lane 3 over Croatia in lane 5. So our good sprint, hopefully we can pull that back and move into silver position.
Right, as they cross through 1,500 metres, Germany, Croatia and Australia filling up the top 3 positions. Then Estonia, Great Britain has slipped back to 5th. And it's Australia vying for a medal here. In first position, it's Great Britain leading by half a boat length. Croatia narrowly in front of Australia in 2nd position. This is going to be a great finish because the Australians have a great finish, final 500 metres underway here, and the Australians trying to get into 2nd position. Still, it is the German combination in lane 6 out in front, and they lead by a full boat length. Croatia in 2nd place, Australia challenging.
I think the tougher conditions over in lane 3 are starting to hurt. We're still on terms vying for silver or bronze.
Australia in third position, Croatia in second, but out in front it's Germany. They lead by a full boat length, and the crowd noise is deafening. The wind picking up, the rain falling here at Eton Gorney, and it is still Germany out in front. They lead by a full boat length. In second place it's Croatia. Australia still in third for bronze medal. Germany, they lead by a full boat length. If anything, they're pulling away. Australia coming home strongly, though. In second position, it's Croatia. Australia challenging for second. And stroke for stroke, the Australians pulling up on the Croatians on the inside of the course. Australia in lane 3. Croatia in lane 5. Germany in lane 6. And Germany out in front. And we just saw the bowman from the Croatian crew look across at the Australians, realising that Dan Noonan lifting the rating for Australia. Approaching the finish line, and it will be the Germans finishing in first. Great finish for second and third. And Australia just narrowly pipped at the post for bronze. And it will be Croatia finishing with a silver medal, Australia finishing with a bronze. But a great finish there. Germany first. They've won the gold medal. In second place, Croatia. But a great finish by the Australians. And they've won the bronze medal.
So a bronze medal for the Australians in the men's quad sculls. Well called by Tim Gable. Congratulations to the Aussies. We'll be back to the rowing for the men's pair and the women's double sculls shortly. Geelong at the moment lead by 43 points. The Hawks have kicked a goal. Bruce getting his second of the evening. It's now Geelong 10-3-63. The Hawks have moved to be 3-2-20. 8 gone in this second term. Adam White with you on Grandstand AFL.
And Birchall has it on the southern wing for the Hawks. He kicks long towards the full forward line. Hale there. Has it got been paid? It has. It looked like Stevenson and Hale both had hands on the footy. But Hale has been paid the mark for the Hawks. 40 metres out from goal, just left of centre, kicking to the city end.
Well, Adam, they've got slowly back into the contest, at least Hawthorn, while we've been with the rowing. But you pointed out very smartly that their set-up players, the players who really need the ball, young Birchall, Bruce, Smith and Suckling, have made absolutely no impact on this game. They need the ball given to them. Better still, they better go and find it themselves.
Hale at the 9-minute mark of the second term, trying to get 2 in a row for the Hawks. In he comes from 40 metres. He has done the business. Geelong 10-3-63. Hawthorn 4-2-26. So the margin has been cut to 37 points at the 9-minute mark of the second term. Interesting stat here, Chris. Hawthorn had 6 tackles in the opening quarter. They had a further 6 tackles in the first 5 minutes of the second quarter.
Yeah, look, the coaches at Hawthorn wouldn't have missed that statistic, so you could almost put money on that one. Now, that's a hard way to go, what we saw from Hawthorn, because it's a contested mark inside 50. It was poor defence by Stevenson. He won't hold his position if he cannot defend, Ruckman marking the ball inside forward 50. And it was a good mark and good finish by Hale. He's been a terrific recruit for Hawthorn Footy Club and kicked a very important goal.
High centre bounce. Stevenson palms it down. Mitchell wanted it, got there for the Hawks, shoveled it out the back. Overrunning it was Young. Roughhead tried to slap it forward. Sheringham blocks that. And we'll have a ball up again in the centre square.
That's where Young had the road through. He just had to put his head down and take the ball, and he didn't make contact with the ball or the player. Not good enough.
Again, Roughhead against Stevenson. Roughhead front position. Stevenson at the back. Tapped it down, but straight to Whitecross of the Hawks. Hurried kick intercepted by Taylor Hunt. He's taken to ground. Players pile around him. Umpire lurks, but then says, no, another ball up.
And they shouldn't. I mean, the bloke who's making the play like that should give me every opportunity. I'm sick and tired of being knocked off in those circumstances. Right decision, umpire. Well done.
Good bounce too. Once more. Stevenson wins it down, but it's to ground. Knocks forward for the Hawks. Puopolo was tackled. Ball spilled free. Sheringham gathers for the Cats. Hand pass to Selwood. Now to Kelly. Kelly tackled. Holding the ball.
One of the great tackles. Sorry to interrupt you, but one of the great tackles of all time that was.
Bruce just stuck out the right hand and grabbed the jumper and brought him to ground. Terrific stuff. The Hawks play on. Suckling from centre half forward. Long but inaccurate. Misses to the right hand side.
Well, he's one of the blokes who need to get the ball. Again, he was given it and very close to the middle of the ground. He nearly snuck one home. Suckling, he can kick the ball.
Second kick for the game for Suckling.
Yep.
Those goals were going through last week. And kicked 4 of them. All from, well, at least 3 of the 4 from outside the 50. The kick back into play from Hunt's a little dicey. Sam Mitchell's cut it off. Now he's at the 50. He's not going to make the distance, so he goes short. And Luke Hodge takes the mark 35 metres out from goal. There is no doubt Hawthorn's lifting. I'm going to be the stupid one that says that Hawthorn's not out of this match.
You have to. They've got to defend the position to start the game, and you've got to defend that. Now, what about Mitchell then getting up? Well, that was high. He jumped higher than his parents gave him the genetic visit to do that, wasn't it? Which is fantastic. He was like you, Chris, about your size and shape. Went up like a jack of the box, he did. Fantastic mark.
Luke Hodge, he kicked so well last week in his first game at goal after missing so much footy. He's kicking to the city end to cut the margin to 30 points. 35 out. The kick is cooking. And it is away to the right and only a minor score. 4-4-28 the Hawks. The Cats 10-3-63. 12 minutes gone, second term.
Well, Josh Hunt will be relieved. He's kicked the ball straight to Mitchell, who kicked it straight to Hunt's opponent standing on the mark.
Kicking was short. Found Lonigan, left full back. Feet right on the boundary line. Puts it high. Taylor just floated through the pack and took the mark. High up above his head at left half back. About 5 metres in from the boundary. He'll kick long and high towards left half forward. Pack of four there. Stretching. Hawkins won it down, but it went to Roughhead. Quickly gave it away to Stratton. Kicked around the body to Young. He got bumped high by Kelly. Moved it on the Shields. Kicks towards attacking 50. Good mark. Lonigan defensively. The Geelong Footy Club. Comes into the middle of the ground. Good Sheringham towards left half forward. Bartell leading strongly to the footy. Too far out to score. The chip back towards the logo. Finds Enright. Plays on by hand. This is Scarlett. Short pass inside attacking 50. Marking just inside the top of the arc. Steve Johnson.
Don't they use that man well, Chris? I mean, they look up and you think they're going long. I think even the defence thinks they're going long. They just come at the kicker. 15 or 20 metres, that was all it was. Perfect kick for him to run into the spaces you called before.
Steve Johnson's got two tonight for the Cats. It'll stay like that for the moment. He misses to the right-hand side. Minor score, the Cats lead back at 36 points. 14 gone in the second term. Tim Hodges is on the boundary.
Yeah, this was a strange one, Clint. Both captains, you never normally see this much angst between captains, and Joel Selwood's come to the bench and Luke Hodges also at the bench. They had a spat for about a minute. They were locked jumper punching each other, and Joel Selwood is still eyeing Luke Hodge off to say, what was all that about?
The long kick back into play. Bartell marks for the Cats. So it's coming back. Centering ball is good to Josh Hunt, who marks inside the centre square. Winds up. Kicks towards full forward. Hawkins is in the pack. Good spoil Gibson. Cats though front and centre. One of them is Smeds on the left. His snap misses. And it is only a minor score. Geelong 10-5. Hawthorn 4-4. 14 gone second term.
Potentially a great player, Smith. He wins the ball. Jack in the box goes up, etc. He's finishing with his feet. He's got a long way to go.
Anything more happening down there, Tim?
No, it's just worth noting between Selwood and Hodges that it was within 2 metres of the emergency umpire, so probably both are going to face hefty fines for a jumper punch session that went on for over a minute.
Hawks down the outer wing. Came from Smith, tried to find Lewis. It went past him. It's over the boundary line by Taylor Hunt. There'll be a throw-in.
Who won the jumper punching?
I would say Luke Hodge took the honours, but Joel Selwood is filthy. It was just so out of character for both. You know, they tossed the coin. They're seemingly good friends, but for 30 seconds or more, they were just boxing on.
The throw-in, both rucks had a go at it. Stevenson took it away, though. Gets a kick towards right half forward. Mark taken by Young of the Hawks. Just inside the boundary. Dangerous kick, just finds Birchall. Was under real pressure. Was able to drag in the mark. So he's at left half back for Hawthorn. They trail by 37 points. Next to go on a short run. Kicks high towards left half forward. Pack of three underneath. Spoil at the back came from Scarlett. Rioli went flying through, couldn't take it. Roughhead's trying to work it out from the bottom of the pack. Scarlett emerges with it, knocking the ball towards the boundary line, tries to tap it onto Kelly, couldn't quite do so. The ball will tumble over the line for another throw-in. 16 minutes gone, Geelong leading by 37 points over the Hawks on the grandstand AFL.
Thrown in, one down by Stevenson, taken though by Roughhead. He's dispossessed. Lots of blue and white jumpers around here. Podsiadl is one of them. Handball to Steve Johnson. He's handball over his head to Kelly. Put him under pressure. He's turned it over. Suckling grabs it. High kick. only went about 15 metres. Off hands, no mark taken, so it's to the bottom of the pack. At left half forward for the Hawks, it comes out a Geelong handball. Kelly getting it to Podsiadly. Spirals the ball towards centre half forward. Chapman going back with a flight, got a bad bounce. Guerra came in and collected Chapman and won the football. Hawthorn on the break at half back. Burgoyne kicking towards half forward. Whitecross will mark. He'll play on. He'll hand pass to Gunston. He's 20 out and he drills it. And back to Paul Chapman, who has not moved at centre half forward. The Hawthorn players going to Guerra. It seemed fair at first glance. It has resulted in Chapman in the hands of the trainers and Hawthorn kicking that goal they needed. 31 points the difference, the Cats in front, but that was a big moment in this match. Tim Hodges.
This looks horrible, Whitey. Paul Chapman's face is buried in the turf and he's just rising now on his knees. The stretcher is on the boundary. The Cats doctors are ready to run on with the stretcher. They're now deciding he's okay. He's up on his feet. The stretcher is going back, but that was a scary moment. Paul Chapman on his feet now, which is good news because that looked really, really bad. And he's now running off unassisted. So amazing stuff.
That's an interesting situation here, David. Chapman runs backwards. Guerra takes the ball, lifts his elbow and elbowed him in the head with the ball. Will have to be looked at.
Cats will try to bring it forward. Selwood got it out to Christensen. Kicks into the right forward pocket. Stokes in front of Burgoyne. Stokes gathers. Ball held to him. He could be in trouble. Umpire says not. Fortunately so. It'll be a bounce.
I don't think there's anything in that one for Guerra. There you are. I reckon it was almost imposed by the player making an attempt to get in and tackle. He just did it badly and awkwardly. I don't see it the same way as you both.
It looks ugly, but I think you're right having looked at it now a couple of times.
Yeah, he instituted it. They played with the ball.
He cocked his elbow. Bang.
Yeah, I didn't see the cock elbow.
Ball's in the left back pocket for the Hawks. Whitecross gathers. Kicks towards the wing. Gunston couldn't take it. Socket along the ground by Rioli. It's bouncing. Bruce tried to tap it to himself to keep it in. It was inventive, but it didn't quite work. Throw in centre wing. It's fired up this game after an amazing start by the Cats. The lead is now 31 points. The Hawks trying to fight their way back into it. Johnson gets a hand pass away. Hawks have got numbers. Scarlett forced to do a strong tackle just forward of centre wing. Ball's been locked in. It'll be a bounce climbing up off the deck. Last man up was Bruce. Worth noting that the Hawks are the very best team in second terms this season. They won 16 of 17 second quarters as Whitecross punches it forward. Back there, Mackie. He'll gather for the Cats at right half back. Short hand pass to Scarlett. Hurried kick up in the air. Johnson set a task. Birchall with him. Bouncing footy. Johnson couldn't take it. Birchall could. Puts it back inside the attacking 50. Taylor in front. Couldn't take the mark for the Cats. Knocked it out though. Came to Christensen. Back to Scarlett. He'll clear towards the outer wing.
He does, and it's through the pack. And it's a 4-on-1 situation here Geelong's way. Steve Johnson's the one that collects it. Kicks to the 50. Bartel marks. Plays on. Hand pass to Podsiadly. Onto his left. Terrific smother. But still maybe a chance for the Cats. Stokes handball missed the target. Birchall came through. You can feel the Hawks lifting. In defence, Sewell. Kick has to be precise, and it is to Gunston. The MCG is alive at the moment because most of them are Hawthorn supporters. They sense the Hawks lifting. Out to half back. Taylor with a good spoil. Taylor Hunt with a hand pass to Josh Hunt. To Harry Taylor. All handballs. Now to Christensen. To Taylor Hunt. Birchall gets him holding the ball. Hawthorn getting angry, and I wonder whether this might be turned over here.
Well, it should have been turned over. The umpire was right. Should have been turned.
It's okay.
No, well, they didn't, but they should have. That was silly, Birchall. Silly. I'm amazed that the umpire didn't take it off and give it to his opponent.
Slung him into the ground.
Well, it's starting to get spiteful, and if he had paid the free kick, everyone would have thought, well, it was well deserved.
Chris Scott was firing up in the box as well. So the kick is towards right half back, and it finds Mitchell. Mitchell for the Hawks, back into the middle of the ground. Suckling marks uncontested. Spears the pass. Whitecross drops the mark he should have taken. Scarlett taps it out for the Cats, finds Bartel. He gathers, spots a teammate for Ian Stokes. He's forward of centre wing. Hand pass to the runner, Johnson. Tries to sell the dummy. Got eventually around Schoenmakers. Gave it back to Stokes. Kicks inside, attacking 50. Bouncing ball. Smets couldn't take it. I reckon he got hurt too then for a moment. He's down. Ball still there. Mitchell gets the hand pass away. That was magnificent to Schoenmakers. Finds Young running by. Young kicking long inside the forward 50. Rioli battling. Rioli still going. Rioli, this will be something incredible. Rioli! Enright!
No, 1 point.
Oh, he's just missed. He just absolutely destroyed Enright but couldn't make it count. Let's go to the rowing, the men's pair called by Tim Gable.
They've gone off to a flying start alongside the Kiwis, and they lead by a quarter of a boat length early in this race. The French combination, Australia back in 4th position.
Well, France second in their semi-final. You'd have to think that they don't have the form to go on with this, and they're going to pay the price for going out so hard, I think, Tim.
Well, the Australians had to come through a lengthy selection regatta to make it through to the Olympic Games in the first place. There were 5 originally selected for the men's pair, and then James Marburg and Bradley Buckland got an opportunity, and they're representing Australia, and they're doing pretty well at the moment. They're currently in 3rd position on the inside of the course, which is the least favoured of the lanes, in lane 1, and just hitting a little bit of wind there. We noticed the boat almost stopping there momentarily, but it's France in the centre of the course doing it pretty comfortably at the moment. They lead by half a boat length, but watch for the Kiwis. Murray and Bond, they really amp up the way that they row, and they like to sort of go out reasonably quickly, and then through the second 500 they like to push it home. And through 500 metres, it is France leading by a quarter of a boat length. Back in second place, it's Murray and Bond from New Zealand, only 0.3 of a second back in second position. And the Australians are currently third in the final of the men's pair here at Eton Dorney through 500 metres.
Tim, I'd expect the New Zealanders to forge ahead in the second 500 here. They'll come down the whole course at a very high rating. They've got such fitness and physiological excellence that they can keep that up the whole journey. Our boys, Buckland and Marburg, have come out quite well in the least favoured lane over in lane 1.
Well, they're currently in 3rd position, Australia. It is Great Britain just moving up on Australia, but New Zealand and the crew in lane 4, France, really going toe for toe at the moment. And just had a quick glance there, did Eric Murray across and see where exactly France was. And now they're really ramping it up now, as I mentioned, through this second 500. That's where they like to make a statement. And we...
Back to the rowing in a moment inside the Aquatic Centre. The men have hopped into the pool for the medley relay. Australia here, Hayden Stokel, Brenton Rickard, Matt Target.
And we'll pick up again at the MCG for a moment, returning into the rowing very shortly. The men's pair with Tim Gable. It's Geelong by 29 points, 24 gone in this second term. So the Cats at 10-5-65, the Hawks 5-6-36.
I thought Jared was getting so excited about the Cats he was going to start calling them footy from the Olympic pool.
Well, he'd be a bit concerned, I'd reckon, at the moment. The Hawks have shown a bit in this second term. They've shown a lot as Roughhead dumps it forward. Puopolo onto it. The hand pass was just a little bit hot. Whitecross couldn't drag it in. It's over for a boundary throw-in just forward of the wing. And by just, I mean about 3 or 4 steps. Ball back into play. Roughhead gets the hand to it for the Hawks. Running over the top of it, Guerra. Shields gets a kick away, but it's intercepted by Sheringham. Shrugs the tackle of Lewis. Over the top, Josh Walker. Stokes with it now. Now back to Christensen. He got it originally from Selwood. Kicks high up in the air. Oh, Duncan flew. Couldn't take the mark. It spills down. Goes inside attacking 50. The kick rather from Duncan, I beg your pardon. Into the left forward pocket. Hawkins. Has he kept it in? Umpire says he has. He keeps going. He was hard up against the boundary. Hand pass to Podsiadley. Got it between 2. Came back to Stokes. Snap on goal from Hawkins. Will bounce and tumble across the boundary line rather, just to the right of the behind post.
They've only kicked 1 goal, Geelong, so they need to get one before half time. Another one.
Important moment in this match here is when going through without the footy was Young. Christensen hand pass to Steve Johnson, gets tackled by Suckling. The umpire circles and decides to call for a bounce. 30 metres out from Geelong's goal at the Punt Road end. 26 gone in the second quarter. It is Geelong by 29 points. Bounce down. 1 down by Hawkins. Selwood was a chance. So too Whitecross. And then Roughhead. 2 kicks partially smothered. Still inside forward 50 for the Cats. Another big pack develops and the umpire will bounce again. I haven't really had much of this in the second term. It's been frenetic. In fact, the whole game has been that way. 45 out from Geelong's goal. It's eventually bounced. Out of the air is almost Walker for the Cats, kicking it towards full forward. Knocked away from the markers. Now it's Hawkins. He's tackled close to the boundary. 35 out from the Cats' goal. Gee, a huge tackle laid there by Smeds on Stratton, and it's again out of play.
We decided that the tackle was a bit rough and tough. Little Smeds, I reckon, on. Who's it? Can't see.
It's on Stratton, so Stratton will take the free kick.
So Stratton in the left back pocket. Wants to head down the line, and he'll do that. Kicking towards centre wing. Taylor up against Hale. Hale got a hand to it. Ball bounced into the ground. Gunston tried to soccer it forward. He missed it. Josh Hunt tries to pick it up. Was tackled. Lost possession as well. More players surrounding the footy.
Tough in there.
Yeah.
Tough. We've got to, I think one of the rule changes has to be to stop these and get it up as quickly as you can.
From the back, the umpire says, I'll have it. Flying up, Hale. He's almost third man up, really. Tapped it down. Whitecross gathers, gave it out to Hale. Umpire spotted a free kick. High is the decision. It's going the way of Whitecross.
And that's the other option. Even if they're close to be a free kick to you.
Spot the free kick. Whitecross moves it to Smith. Goes back to Birchall, standing on the defensive edge of the centre square for the Hawks, who trail by 29 points, 27 gone, second term.
Now they work the loose man, the Hawks, onto the southern side with Roughhead. Now over the top to Mitchell with a handball. Mitchell collects on the bounce, and on his left, kicks to full forward. Has taken a fantastic mark, Cyril. 30 metres out from goal, if that. Almost straight in front.
How good.
He wasn't almost really entitled to mark that because it looked like it was Hodges, and Cyril said, no, I'm taking that one.
But he went backwards first, sideways second, and then into the air third.
And more importantly, he kicks the goal. And Hawthorn has kicked the last four. They are back in this match. Geelong 10-5-65. The Hawks now 6-6-42. That margin, 23 points. Very close to half-time.
Now, throw that, Chris. He didn't. I got a bit confused there. He didn't even use the body to get onto it, did he? The players coming out were taller. They were a bigger group. Hodge and Mackie and company were coming in, and he actually cut through the hole in front where the drop zone was. Went upwards. I did see that the way it was. I didn't think it was possible.
Well, Mackie got a shove from Hodge, and that unbalanced him. But the amazing thing with Cyril, he ran in from the side he's not comfortable with. Got great elevation and took a great contested mark, and just a special piece of play.
Magnificent mark. Tap down, the Hawks will go forward again. They run it down to Mitchell. Rioli involved once more. Long inside the forward 50. Roughhead just got away slightly from Taylor, and he takes the mark at left full forward. The Hawks are coming.
And Rioli's up middle or forward. Rioli's having one of those little patches where he takes the game over, and influence is so dramatic. I know he's not a big possession winner. He never has. He's 15 or 16 per game. But has he been influential in the moments now that given Hawthorn just a bit of a chance? Just a bit of a chance.
Roughhead from the left forward pocket. The kick has split the middle. Hawthorn have kicked the last five. They're 7-6-48. Geelong 10-5-65. Geelong's lead that was 45 points at quarter time is now just 17 as we head past the half an hour mark in the second term. Grandstand AFL experts tonight, Chris Connolly, David Parker.
Well, this game's up for grabs now, David. There's no doubt that this game is right on the line. And as far as I can see, even though the scoreboard shows that Geelong has a lead, this is very much a 50-50 game right now.
Well, now 15 shots for Geelong and now 13 to Hawthorn. So it's been a massive comeback. Got to give them some due. We know they're...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This could be a great win for Hawthorn.
Well, if they were able to get back, this is one of the greatest wins of all time.
Bounce back in the middle. Hale wins the tap. Getting a bad bounce with Steve Johnson. Mitchell off the ground. Ricochets out to Lewis. Handball to Hale to full forward. Could there be one more? Oh, Roughhead dropped the mark, and there's the siren for half-time. What a half of football. You look around the MCG. It's Hawthorn fans now that are standing as one. It was the Cats at quarter time, and now it's the Hawks' time. At the main break, it's Geelong 10-5-65, 17 points up on Hawthorn, 7-6-48. But the Hawks, as Clint said, kicked the last 5 goals of the half. The goal scorers, we'll start with Geelong. Lots here from the first quarter. Chapman's got 3. 2 each to Johnson, Duncan and Hawkins, and a single to Christensen. For the Hawks, it's 2 to Bruce, and singles to Roughhead, Lewis, Gunston, Hale and Rioli. Now, Geelong's last goal came at the 2-minute mark of the second term. So, at the 2-minute mark of the second quarter, Geelong had kicked 10 goals, yet we're talking about this game being a 50-50 contest at half-time. We love Geelong and Hawthorn games. I just love it. It's fantastic.
It was a 51-point lead at that second minute mark.
Oh, was it? Yeah, because it's 45 at quarter time plus that. Back to 17 now, and I'm not sure, you'd be smarter than I couldn't predict. When White-Cross dropped that mark, I thought they're really pushing hard. They just need to be clean and crisp. White-Cross dropped the mark. It was kicked in inside 50 there. The worst part of that was that he lay on the ground for about 3 minutes afterwards, so disappointed with the action he's got. His opponent plus 3 others ran off, and I thought, sadly, it's a couple of individual efforts like that. Young's run through the middle at a crucial time in the game where he neither took the ball or took the bloke. And you think that those things will say, they say a lot to your teammates as well as saying things to yourself, but they say a lot to the opposition as well because they see all what we see. So it's been an incredible turnaround. It's been a ferocious, that quarter was just unbelievable, wasn't it? When the frenetic nature of it and the physicality, we haven't had it off the ground. We have the captains of both sides getting into it off the ground. They wanted to continue the fight when they're on the bench and jumper punching each other. So we heard from Tim down below. It's pretty serious business when you come to represent Geelong, you represent Hawthorn in these games. And whilst the continuity of the 9 wins that they've had, there's been such a small margin each time, Chris, that both get a bit of a snip and think they can. Hawthorn at least at the stage now where they must be believing that they've at least turned it round to give themselves a reasonable chance of getting to them and maybe even passing them.
Yeah, look, I think Whitey hit the nail on the head when he said that Hawthorn had 6 tackles in the first quarter and then had 6 in the first 5 minutes of this second quarter. What I like so much about Hawthorn is that they did it in an environment that they haven't played in much and they're probably not comfortable with. It was just complete grunt. It was win the contested possession, get the ball deep inside 50, try and crumb, take a mark, get numbers to the ball and try and grunt out some goals. We never saw, the free-flowing play of Hawthorn that we've seen in the last month where they horseshoe it around the back line, they zigzag it through the midfield, they spot up guys inside 50. They had to work for every single goal they got, and that was impressive. And they wanted to put a physical mark on this. Guerra knocks out Chapman, Hodges like Muhammad Ali down there with Selwood, Birchall's running around like he's Joe Fraser. They were trying to just change the playing environment, and they did, and were able to get an ascendancy on the ball, 11 shots to 3 in that quarter.
Paco, just some key stats. Yep. We'll look at the second quarter here. I mentioned at quarter time about how Hawthorn had 6 tackles, and then they had 6 tackles in the first 5 minutes of the second term. They ended up having, Hawthorn, 27 tackles for the quarter. So that's
32 now versus 36. That's an incredible turnaround, isn't it?
Amazing turnaround. Inside 50s, 14-7 Hawthorn's way. Clearances were 12-6. Even free kicks 7-2. And Hawthorn tidied up its efficiency to 71%. Geelong's dropped to 67 from 84. So it just shows the tackle pressure and defensive pressure change. So there's some of the stats just from the second term. And we talk about, remember the famous Mick Malthouse press conference when the journalist asked him, had Collingwood come to play? Well, the question could be asked about Hawthorn, considering you look at those stats at half-time. It still is a lead of 17 points to the Cats, though.
Yeah, look, and the amazing thing is this trend that's happened from first quarter to second quarter doesn't usually happen in AFL footy, so who knows? This game's up for grabs.
We'll get an update from Tim Hodges at the first stoppage on Paul Chapman. We start the second half with a kick to Kelly under pressure. A bouncing footy towards centre half forward. Smets went without the footy. Charging through was Duncan. Got a hand pass to Selwood. Kick partially smothered. Bounces off Gibson's chest. Podsiadly goes in hard. Hand passes to Chapman, who's crashed to the ground. Burgoyne dispossessed for the Hawks. Stokes there. Chapman there. All little hand passes under pressure. Spills out towards Roughhead, who got tackled high.
bit lucky. I mean, the umpire needed to do something then, and it was actually Young.
In fact,
and that's a good thing for Young to do that. He drew his head. He head-butted the bloke and went in, and the umpire was a bit lenient there. I think he got the free kick himself.
Players crashing in from all sorts of different angles, and it's Young to get the kick out towards the members' wing. He wants Hale. Pokes out towards Hodge. Hand pass under pressure back towards Hale. It trickles out of bounds, very close to where Tim Hodges is.
Whitey, just an update on Paul Chapman. We had Olympic commitments when he came off. He had his jaw checked by doctors. He was also spoken to extensively. It wasn't a concussion test, more just to make sure he was okay after that nasty bump in the second term. And just an update on Brent Guerra as Luke Hodge kicks towards me. Just made the boundary line for a throw-in. Brent Guerra, he'll either get no weeks and be found not guilty, and if he is found guilty, he has a dreadful record, so he's going to be set for an extensive time on the sidelines again for the second time this year.
And the throw-in, third man up and punching it forward was Hodge for the Hawks. Scooped on by Gunston, kicks around the body. Oh, how on earth did Roughhead drop the mark? He got his hands to it. Not sure there was a spoil in there. He was able to regather though. Gave it on to Lewis. Lewis breaks the tackle, kicks towards goal, and he misses. Tightish angle, but you would have expected him to do better. Missing across the face, a minor score. Geelong's lead now just 16 points.
He was like Greg Inglis, the way he just kept shrugging tackles. The Cats attack down the southern side. Duncan marks defensive wing. His next kick down the line to Podsiadly, who marks. The Cats now trying to get their energy back. The kick towards half forward. Hawkins loses Gibson on this occasion. Can't take the mark. Hawthorn with the ball now. The handball comes out from Burgoyne towards Birchall. Getting the hand pass to Young. Young's kick a little dicey, and in fact it's not a good kick at all. Duncan marks for the Cats. Two good kicks out from goal on the southern side. There are a lot of numbers ahead of him. Oh, Mackey's got loose, and Mackey's marked it in the corridor, just 30 metres out from goal straight in front. Same defensive issues we saw in the first term.
Oh, and he not only stood there waving to his mate and carrying on and jumping like a jumping windmill, everybody could see it. Mates, Blake with the ball, and every Hawthorn player, again, no one decided that was their responsibility.
Lewis missed at one end. Mackey doesn't miss at the other. Sneaks it in. And the Cats, they needed that. 11-5-71, back to a 22-point lead over Hawthorn. 7-7-49, the first goal of the second half.
Look, you can talk about all the different kicking stats you like, but kicking efficiently inside forward 50 has to sit at number one. I think all things even, players can convert to a certain level quite consistently. What happened there was Selwood was in that kind of hot spot 35 metres out from goal right in front and led up late. Because he changed pace on the lead, Sewell ran out of the space and then Mackey slid into that space. So movement creates opportunities, and what Geelong have done magnificently, as soon as there is a free player in forward 50, zing. That's what we saw in the first quarter. Didn't see it in the second quarter, and they're back on the mark in this third quarter.
On the bounce, Hale wins it down for the Hawks and then socked forward by Lewis. Hand pass comes inboard. Mitchell missed it. Hodge tries to work it out to Lewis. Tapped it forward. Back to Mitchell. Back to Hodge. Or back to Lewis, rather. Kicks a bouncing ball inside the attacking 50. Scooping onto it, Rioli. Kicks around the body. It'll bounce towards goal, but hit the left hand upright. It was almost more Cyril Rioli magic. Another behind, though. Hawthorn at 7-8-50. Geelong 11-5-71.
Sorry about that, Cliff. He's electric tonight, isn't he? He's on tonight. Things happen when he's around. Either chasing blokes out or having a shot at goal.
That's two posters in this term to Hawthorn. Hunter's kicked it to the middle with a torpedo, but it's carried the pack and it's a Hawthorn footy. Guerra slipped over as he kicked it, and he's hurt himself. Advantage paid. Oh, everyone stopped. Burgoyne waltzed to the 50 and kicked the goal. Everybody stopped. Geelong players, Hawthorn players. The umpire said, "You can keep going, Sean," and he did, and he kicked the goal, and it's back to 15 points.
I suppose you can justify it. He was out in his own all by himself. He had a good look at the umpire. You're right. Every single player on both teams. Nobody thought it was, except for the bloke who was in charge or around the ball. He's the only person who thought this is a chance. Umpire gave him the nod and away he went. I'm not sure how that's set technically. Chris, I don't know how you saw that.
There's an advantage rule, but Hunt's kicked the ball, cleared the centre, magnificent torpedo punt. Where's the Geelong player? So ends up a poor structure by them.
Yep.
Hawthorn player wins the ball, kick slips, hits someone in the head, then there's an advantage rule. I don't like it when players put their head in dangerous positions and get hit and get a free kick.
Stevenson wins it down for the Cats. Gave it to Selwood. Now to Johnson. Johnson inside attacking. 50 easy as you like. Smith takes the mark. That was slick.
It was slick.
Well, our stats don't show uncontested marks inside forward 50, but the Hawthorn defensive coach would be really concerned about that, because uncontested marks inside defensive 50 is a strong measure of your defensive mechanisms.
Louis Spencer's one behind so far this evening. The kick is to the right of centre from 47 metres out. It's going across to the right-hand side and missing. Two behinds to Spence. Geelong 11-6-72. The Hawks 8-8-56. The Cats by 16. 6 gone third term.
I talked about that in his game. He's not a good kick, not a good finisher.
Guerra goes very long for Hawthorn. Inside the centre square, Hale punches it to the front. Smith went without it for the Hawks. Chapman got a hand pass to Kelly. Spreads it to Selwood. Left foot kick towards Hawkins. Went underneath the footy. And he's been given a free kick for tunnelling against Birchall, who doesn't like it.
No, that's not tunnelling. That is a terrible decision. That's a game-breaking decision. That's a terrible decision. You watch, he's not at all. He's tried to get out of his way. He's got hit by the bloke. Wasn't even. Oh, that is a shocking decision. We can't. I mean, what's the justification? Tell me the justification. What could have the umpire possibly seen?
Hawkins from just inside the 50. A long kick from left half forward. It has missed. That's the Hawthorn fans cheering, not the Geelong fans.
No, that's the football gods at work.
17 points the lead to the Cats.
What happens is Hawkins misjudged the ball.
Kick in long towards left half back. Finds Burgoyne, moves it down the line. Battle on here. Lonigan wins out against Gunston. Hand pass to Scarlett. Scarlett puts the Cats towards Johnson. Goes short to Sheringham. Hand pass was behind Kelly. Did well to drag it in. Then shrugged the tackle of Whitecross. Unleashes Johnson. Johnson onto Taylor. Taylor long towards full forward. Good spoil. The punch came defensively from Schoenmakers. He saw it over the boundary line emphatically.
That free kick will be talked about for a long while. Even though it didn't score, talked about for a long time.
Ball spun back into play. Hawkins at the back. Won it down. Podsiadly couldn't take it. Schoenmakers got a hand pass away. Gibson had it slapped from his grasp. Still there to be won. Comes to Suckling. Hand passes behind Roughhead. Hand passes back. Finds Burgoyne. Short pass to Sewell. Sewell towards right half back to Guerra. They're on down the outer side. The kicks to Smith. Marks uncontested and goes on a run towards the wing. Takes a bounce. He's got players forward. The kick is inside the forward 50. Good defence. Getting up there and getting the free kick was Scarlett.
Good decision. That one, good decision. Bruce, was it 22?
Yes, it was.
Bruce just had to look at the ball and go. It was, they're wrong. That was a bad mistake by the Hawthorn defence.
And the short kick to Kelly. Back part of the square. And he'll go short to Mackie. They've got the little overlap here if they go to Johnson. Mackie decides not to. He instead kicks to centre half forward. Long kick. Podsiadly with a run at it. Can't take the mark. At the drop. Bartel dispossessed. Umpire says play on. Hawthorn ball anyway. Sewell gets the hand pass to Smith. Now to Guerra. Hawks moving it towards the members' wing. Guerra's hand pass was hot to Suckling. Good tackle, Josh Hunt. Cruising through Selwood for the Cats. Hand pass to Scarlett. Into the middle to Podsiadly. Gets onto his left. Kicks to Bartel. He's marked at 55 out from goal. He goes short to Chapman. Sam Mitchell comes late. Can't affect the mark. Paul Chapman, 45 out straight in front.
Poor choice by Guerra, wasn't it? Hung on the ball too long and then ran out of options. Should have given the first choice. First choice, best choice most of the time in footy. Wasn't taken.
Yeah, look, when Geelong breaks through that forward midfield area for themselves, they're just delivering so well inside 50. There's another uncontested mark inside forward 50 to Geelong. Major concern for Hawthorn.
Paul Chapman kicked 3 goals in the first quarter, didn't touch it in the second quarter. He has his 4th in the third term. He just doesn't miss Paul Chapman from a set shot inside 50. And the margin is back out to 23 points. The Cats with 2 goals to 1 this term. 12-7-79 to Hawthorn 8-8-56. 10 gone third quarter.
Well, they answered the call in the sense, Chris, that they jumped in and scored the first. I reckon the third quarter, I've always talked to you about the premiership quarter. This is the one that really counts. You put the mark on the imprint on the game in the third quarter. They got the first one to go. I think that was a big relief for them. Had Hawthorn done the same, then the momentum was still with them, so they've changed that. Hawthorn scored. Now Geelong have shown that they can, do it when they need to do it. I think there's a good sense of where we are, the Geelong Football Club, right now.
Chapman with 4 goals, 30 goals, 10 the season for Paul Chapman. As the Cats from the bounce see Johnson trying to work it out. Umpire eventually has to bounce this. It's not coming out. Roughhead emerges with the footy. Bartel off the deck. So too Lewis. Bounce again in the centre circles. The back, Roughhead. Might have got a slight touch on it. Got it away onto Enright. Enright's kick was smothered. So too was Kelly as he tried to work it forward. Ball still in dispute in the centre circles. Gathered by Johnson, got tackled by Rioli, went as far as Birchall. He'll put the Hawks a spiralling kick inside attacking 50. Taylor! That's a terrific grab. He's been wonderful.
Oh, he's been the difference, really. He's been absolutely superb.
Taylor, that wasn't good. Commentator's curse. Miss kick comes to Bruce across half forward. Now Rioli to Lewis from 49 metres out. Elects to chip to Gunston. You give him a rap.
Oh.
These things happen.
Well, he's been superb. Right throughout this last 6 or 8 weeks, I know probably for the season, but I've seen a lot of him, and his intercepting of the long ball coming in, or even the shorter, more deliberate pass, he's been able to get there and punch it when it's necessary and mark it clean on other occasions. I'm a bit sad that he went to the other extreme then with his disposal.
Jack Gunston has kicked the goal. A second for the Hawks for Gunston and a second in this quarter. So that margin returns to what it was at half time. It's the Cats by 17 points. They're 12-7-79. The Hawks 9-8-62. 12 gone third quarter.
Been handy, Chris.
Yeah,
look, what's his 22-14 his kick for the season. He's an acquisition that does a particular job. He's not so good on the other elements of the game. He's a lead, mark and a straight kick. Doesn't chase out and manoeuvre and do all those things as well as he should, but looks like he can play.
Yeah, look, you need a number of players who kick over 20 goals, and he's fitted into that slot, and they'll need him as they unfold into the finals. Harry Taylor, fatigue sets in the third quarter. It's round 18. You've got to be balanced on the short kicks in defensive 50.
In the middle, Selwood gets tackled by Lewis, but gets to his feet and handballs it off to Bartel. Left foot kick, a bouncing footy out to the southern side. Birchall grabs it, handballs it out towards Young. And now the Hawks through Sewell. Getting the hand pass to Birchall. Back to Sewell. He's going to get mown down. Breaks the tackle though, and he's able to get a handball out here. And Young takes it. Runs the southern wing close to the boundary. Up to half forward, Rioli and Hunt. Hunt did well. At the drop, Scarlett. Hand passes to Lonigan. He's in trouble. Holding the football. Free kick, Hawthorn.
He's had a shocker though.
Terrific tackle from Paul Puopolo. He's 75 out from goal. He goes to the pocket, hails up, can't take the mark. It's going to be a Hawthorn goal. Gunston's front and centre work was exceptional. He's kicked his third goal and he's put Hawthorn back within 11 points. Geelong 12-7-79. Hawthorn 10-8-68. 14 gone third term.
Look, Lonigan, the first 2 goals of the night were for Hawthorn were hands in the back from Lonigan. He's turned the ball over there. I think he done one over on the member side here. He's just had a shocker. And he'll need to fight back and play a good second half. But Hawthorn are well and truly in this game. I mean, they're 11 points behind. Now, that's nothing to a Hawthorn footy club. They can score 11 points in about 5 seconds. So this game is game on. And I'll tell you what, if Hawthorn can get the points tonight, David, they're going to go into the finals with even more confidence, considering the first quarter they gave up.
From the bounce, Stevenson won it down, but straight to Whitecross. He kicks the Hawks towards centre half forward. Big pack underneath. No one takes the mark. Duncan tries to get it for the Cats. Lonigan in there too. Bartel locking it in. There's one Hawk amongst all of that. Umpire says we'll ball it up. It's Sam Mitchell who will climb up off the turf.
How ferocious is it? I mean, how do you survive? How do you have a long career doing this all day?
Hale puts it inside the Hawks attacking 50, bounces off some shins. Duncan tries a hurried kick away. Whitecross gathers, strongly tackled to ground by Bartel. Comes out to Smeds, got it to Sheringham, puts the Cats to left half forward. Diving mark defensively to Stratton. He's there with Hawthorn. Goes back to Schoenmakers. He's now going to get rid of it after stepping off the mark. He's able to ease it towards Burgoyne.
Those left footers are so good at that, aren't they? They just manoeuvre it out, just give the bloke a metre or two, and they confidently kick it to him.
Now, Christensen looked like he was collected off the ball. He's in a bit of trouble in the hands of the trainer. Ball's with Shields at the moment. He's taken an uncontested mark and he'll put it down the wing.
He goes the members side looking for Hale up in the pack. Can't take the mark. Front and centre. In fact, it bounced really highly, so it meant Stevenson could take it for the Cats. Down to Smets, back to Christensen, who looks like he's recovered. So full forward, it beats Hawkins and Schoenmakers. Burgoyne came in late. Oh, he left the ball alone, though. To Walker out of the pack, and Walker's kicked it. Yep, that's a goal. Sort of came from nowhere, really. Walker was never really in the play, but the ball ricocheted from the contest out to him, and it's back to a 17-point lead to the Cats. 13-7-85 to Hawthorn, 10-8-68.
Sorry, Adam, you're absolutely right then, because Hawthorn had the numbers and the position relative to the ball, and it was just sensational hard work, just kept out at Geelong and created an opportunity which I thought would have been a fairly easily released from there for Hawthorn in the back half. So that's good. When you can create them when they're in and they should be on the way out again, I reckon that's fantastic footy.
Umpires have converged. They're going to put in a notice to look at the incident that involved Christensen before. No one spotted it, including us. Let's see if we can see something on the replay. Ball bouncing around from the bounce. Slap forward by Selwood. Stokes couldn't take it. Umpire spots a high tackle. It's the Cats. It's against Hale. Getting up is Selwood. He elects to play on from the centre circles. Kicks Geelong to the left forward pocket. Mark's taken Duncan.
That was brave and good. Brave and very good. Going backwards and sideways across the corridor with them coming from his right-hand side in pairs. He kept his eye on the ball, took a little bit of punishment, was quick enough to take it. But most blokes would have maybe turned around, have a look and see whether they got it right to go. Hope he kicks a goal. It was so well earned, this particular possession.
Mitch Duncan showed real courage in marking the football. Couldn't make the most of the opportunity when kicking on goal from 45 metres out. Minor score. Cats lead is 18 points. 18 gone in the third term.
Where it goes the southern side. A lovely weighted ball to Young, who almost didn't have to break stride. Kicks even longer towards Hodge. Now Hodge can't mark stretching going back with the flight, but he's first to the footy. Handballs over the top to Rioli. He's 50 out. He goes short and Puopolo marks. That's the way you attack down the southern wing. Puopolo's marked it now. He's 40 out, maybe 42 out. Out at right half forward, kicking to the punt road end.
Doesn't Young open them up when he gets the ball? He's just blistering acceleration and then speed and carry. One of these great attributes.
Paul Puopolo comes in now. A bit of a stuttering approach, but he likes it, and he's got it. That's his first. And again, the margin back to 2 goals. Geelong 13-8-86. Hawthorn 11-8-74, 19 goal in third term.
You caused it, Adam. You caught a stuttering approach. It was more a stuttering flight through the air as well. The combination of approach and flight didn't look like to me it was going to go through.
Look at a big minute for Geelong. I mean, they've missed the goal. Rebound from kick-ins. He only scored 10% of the time from kick-ins. Cyril Rioli ran from defensive 50 to 50, and I think that's been the big improvement in his game. That's what's underpinned the significant improvement. And Hawthorn kick a goal up the other end. So it's a 12-point play in a sense, or certainly an 11-point play for Hawthorn Footy Club, and it's the big plays that'll be the difference.
Good bounce. Roughhead went early. Stevenson let it bounce and gets a hurried kick towards left half forward. Onto it, Christensen does really well. Clever hand pass to Stokes. Kicks to full forward. Podsiadly tried to tap it to the advantage of Chapman. Schoenmaker's got there once, gets there a second time. Bartel kept it in play in the right forward pocket. Chapman got slung over the boundary line. Ball still there, taken by Schoenmakers. Podsiadly tackles him over the line. Now we've got a throw in.
I'm glad I didn't go home, and I'm very glad I'm not out there playing this game. There's two things I'm so pleased about.
It's been brutal. It's been fascinating. It's been terrific as the tap was down by Roughhead. Straight onto the deck. Players all over it. It's not coming out. We'll have a bounce. We've gone into time on in the third term. The Cats are still up by 12 points.
We've had great words tonight, haven't we? Frenetic and brutal all being applied to this game. Sensational is the word.
Bounce of the footy. There are so many players around this bounce. Only 20 metres out from the Cats' goal. Straight back into congestion. White cross for the Hawks. Gets a hurried kick. It's outside the 50. Enright going back with a flight. Dropped the mark. And it's gone out of play for a throw-in. Now 75 metres around from Geelong's goal. So a win there for the Hawks.
And the ball does move efficiently because Hawthorn has extra players at the clearance, and the halfbacks for Geelong are dropping off down the field.
Stevenson wins the tap. Sewell goes off the ground. Coming through Sheringham. Big tackle from Lewis and Mitchell. He was the meat in the sandwich, Sheringham.
Gee, he looked good last week. I was impressed with him. He came off as a substitute and had 21 or 22. He's a very strong inside player.
Another bounce as the game just slows for the moment. Hale wins the tap, taken by Kelly. Left foot kick off the side of his boot into the middle. And Josh Hunt takes a very good contested mark.
Kick it from here.
He goes very long. It'll fall short in the pocket. Fancy Hawkins. Yep, he's got it. Too strong against Schoenmakers there. Once he got the one-on-one. And he's marked it in the forward pocket, but really only a 45-degree angle left of centre.
They have that advantage. I think they're stronger, well, probably via the one. Hawkins provides, Podsiadly's pretty good at it too, but Hawkins is over the key forwards in both sides.
He
Hawkins
goes the snap, and he's got it. Yeah, that's a goal. He's now got 3. He opened the angle. The Steve Johnson special.
Same again.
And it's back out to 3 goals.
I've been down there a bit in the last few weeks, and they practice it all the time.
Yeah.
Everybody's, and it's almost the expectation. I'm not sure it's being directed by the coaches, but Jono's out there. He's teaching them the actual technique, and they've been doing it. We've watched them now, Chris, for the last month, and every player who gets in that position prefers to do that method. Every single one of them. So this is, we don't see many real ongoing modifications to the way the game's played. This is one that's been adopted totally by this club to great effect, in my opinion.
Update from the Olympics in the women's basketball. Russia 58 trail the Opals 63. So the Aussies in front with 3 minutes to go in the final quarter. From the bounce, punched forward by Roughhead, then helped on by Lewis. Ball comes to Mitchell. Mitchell goes to centre half forward. Bruce was involved. Ball inside attacking 50. Gunston stretches, can't mark. Down to Sewell. Fires a hand pass back. Stevenson intercepts for the Cats. It's now with Steve Johnson. He was at centre half back. Kicks towards the outer wing. Running with the flight of the football. They're marking Bartel. Hand pass Selwood. Hand pass back to Bartel. The Cats will go into the left forward pocket. Guess who they want? Hawkins. He's going to get the free kick anyway. He was being held. It's a slightly tighter angle than where he was just moments ago, but he can go back to try to make it a 24-point margin in favour of Geelong.
Now, there's always that argument. I think we're going to see the Stevie Johnson special again here. David, do you think he's...
No doubt here.
He's a bit further out, but he's aiming. He's looking at us, so it's going to happen.
He will. He'll try it. Not this time. Across the face for a minor score.
I think what we're seeing is Hawthorn's biggest weakness. They have been killed inside their own defensive 50. Their defence as a team and their back six have been cut up tonight. The number of marks inside forward 50 for Geelong are through the stratosphere.
Yep.
Short kick into Birchall Hodgie. The Geelong subs taken place.
Stephen Motlop is into the game, Whitey, and that beautiful kick by Josh Hunt to Tom Hawkins has cost him. He's done a groin. He's got the red vest on and ice applied to his groin. He's out of this match. Josh Hunt out. Stephen Motlop in.
Okay, Hawthorn kicking it around in defence. And it's Guerra short to Whitecross.
And he took the mark.
He'll poke it over the top to Stratton. And he'll go short to Birchall. It's all little 20-metre passes. as Hawthorn gets it to left half back. 25 gone now in the third term, with the Cats up by 19 points. Birchall goes long towards the members' wing. Roughhead one-on-one with Stevenson. Stevenson with the spoil off the ground by Gunston. Finds the boundary and will be thrown in just forward of the members' wing for the Hawks.
That's a big win for Geelong. I mean, Geelong are forcing Hawthorn to kick from their defensive mid into their forward mid long, whereas usually they work it up the field and then penetrate inside forward 50. Big defensive win for Geelong.
Both rucks got a tap. It came down to Chapman. Ball spills out. Now it's with Tuopolo. Great smother, Kelly. Tuopolo was at left half forward, trying to get the kick away, and Kelly got his hands to it and knocked it over the boundary line. Real courage. Just stung a bit too, I reckon. Ball spun in. Front position, Hale. Down to Mitchell. Hand passes. Oh, he wanted the player to run onto it. He had his teammate there in Whitecross. He couldn't quite get to the footy. Throw in, same spot we were just seconds ago.
Not having a great night, Whitecross. He's mucked up too many things that were reasonably straightforward.
Ball spun a little bit higher this time into play. Hale again gets the left palm down to it to Mitchell. Back to Whitecross. This kick is high. Inside the forward 50. Packer 3 underneath. Punch comes away from the Cats. Bounces its way towards Motlop. He couldn't take it cleanly. Kelly goes in. Tries to slip it out. Sheringham missed it. Motlop did it. Hand passes to Bartell. Cats across half back. Now to Smeds. This is better play. I'll move it from Motlop to right half forward. Stretching. Hawkins can't mark. He'll get a second opportunity. Hand passes over his head. No, he doesn't. It's a throw. He had Podsiadly behind him.
Good call.
Yeah. Everyone shifts the platform hand. So
It's only got to hit. The hand can be moving anywhere. It's only got to hit the ball. I don't think that's a good call.
Gibson runs on and kicks towards the wing. Poor kick. Bartell makes an easy chest mark on the members' wing.
Smart. Slowing it up now, Bartell.
Yeah.
They've been frenetic all the time. He's smart. They're coming towards the end of the quarter.
Bartell, he goes towards the boundary, towards Hawkins. Gibson comes third man up, spoiled. Comes towards Smeds. He couldn't control the football. Birchall's tackled. Play on. Doesn't matter. It's a Geelong ball anyway. Stokes getting the hand pass to Steve Johnson, who gets tackled high. Now, this is a very important kick coming up to Steve Johnson.
Yep, this is the one, and
he's played on. Now he goes with the instep drop punt kick right across the face. Chapman was one-on-one, couldn't hold the markets out of play.
Yeah, tell me that. Explain that to me.
I reckon he's gone
Adam?
to the boundary and he's gone with the instep to try and get the drop punt to go left to right.
Oh,
and
so
it
he
didn't
wasn't
go left
looking.
to right.
He wasn't looking for
I reckon
Chapman.
he's going for goal.
Okay.
Throw in. Hale wins the tap down. Very dangerous spot here, 20 metres out from Geelong's goal, straight into congestion, and it will be bounced. Leads with the left shoulder, so the drop punt goes left to right.
Okay, that's a very good golfing technique.
big minute here for the Geelong Football Club.
Bounce again. Hale won it down. Still tried to get a kick away. I reckon he might have hurt himself in that as well. Bounces backwards. Ball wasn't far enough in the air to be a mark. It was taken and it's been locked in. And that's where it'll stay. Guerra looks very slow and groggy getting up off the turf.
Last minute of the quarter.
And the bounce again. Once more, Hale won it down. That's a throw, you'd reckon, from Burgle. And umpire said it was okay. Unbelievable. Kick from the Hawks goes beyond defensive 50. Scooped on in the middle of the ground. This is Rioli. He's still going, Rioli. Takes a bounce at left half forward. He's got no one to kick to. So he literally stops just inside the attacking 50. Play on's the cause. He goes back to Hodge. Goes across half forward. And at centre half forward, Roughhead marks.
We've got half a minute.
Roughhead measures the pass, misses his target, went over the top of Smith. Back there, Taylor got tackled as he tried to get a kick away. Ball's been locked inside the attacking 50 for Hawthorn. Ball up. Not long left now.
They have 13 seconds to do something inside their 50. Would be a great finish if they were to snatch one here.
Cats lead is past 3 goals. Punch forward, Smith. Running onto it, Roughhead. Taylor got there first, tried to see the ball towards the boundary line. Roughhead stole it away from him. The attempted grubber towards goal is very narrow. It's out of bounds. Throw in. Just seconds remaining in this third term. Ball back into play. Again, Hale will win it down. Just as Hodge gathered and snaps. kick was off target anyway, but the siren has sounded for three-quarter time. Geelong's lead is 19 points. The Cats are 14-9-93. The Hawks 11-8-74. The goal kickers for Geelong, Chapman has 4, Hawkins 3, 2 to Steve Johnson, 2 to Mitch Duncan, singles to Christensen and to Mackey. While for the Hawks, Gunston with 3, 2 to Bruce, singles Roughhead, Lewis, Burgoyne, Hale, Puopolo and Rioli. It's the Cats by 19 points, 1 quarter to go. This is Grandstand AFL. The Olympics, the women's basketball, the Opals have beaten Russia by 4, 70-66. That's full time. 1 quarter to come here at the MCG. Adam White on Grandstand AFL.
Strap your seatbelts on. This next 30 minutes could be something. From the start, it's Burgoyne getting a quick kick that was partially smothered. Selwood with a hand pass to Bartel. From a standing start, kicks out towards half forward through Smets' hands. Taken by Sutcliffe. Caught on his right foot, but the pass is very good. Marked by Bruce. Next in the line will be Smith. Sheringham came late, gave away a free kick. Or a mark, take your pick. It'll be Smith between wing and half forward right.
Actually a good professional free kick then. He's allowed them all to get back. He slowed it up, was very smart. He's also got a good head for the game, this kid.
Smith gets onto his left and kicks it very long towards full forward. Hale in the pack. Spoils come. Front and centre, Gunston tried to double fist punch it towards Sewell, but he missed the target. It's in the corridor. Tackles are applied. Stevenson on the bottom of the pack for the Cats. He's tackled to the ground. It'll be bounced. 45 out from Hawthorn's goal in the corridor.
What an amazing game it's been. Hawks in real trouble at quarter time. Still in this contest though, as Roughhead gathers, gave it to the runner Burgoyne, and Burgoyne from 30 metres out has really made this interesting.
This was a good setup then, wasn't it? A good setup. I mean, they defended the set play or the ball up that happened there, and they defended with backs to the centre of the ground looking at the goal, and 3 of them actually, one was able to direct, 2 was able to get it, and the third one was able to protect him on the way through. And it was a terrific effort to read it and set it up that way. They needed to get the hit into their pathway. I think the other way it would have been rushed out, and the same thing happened to Geelong going out of defence. So good goal, and they needed to get the first one. I reckon had Geelong got the first one this quarter, then it was going to be very, very difficult.
Burgoyne second, the Cats lead now just 13 points, 14-9-93 to the Hawks, 12-8-80.
Back in the middle, one down by Stevenson of the Cats. Again, there's lots of bodies around the ball, and the umpire will come in and call for a secondary bounce. Now, with Hawthorn chasing back from that margin of 45 points at quarter time and even 51 points in the second, they haven't got any closer than 11 points at the 14-minute mark of the third term. Hale wins the tap. Bad bounce for Mitchell. Lets Duncan in. Rushes a bouncing ball towards half forward Smets. Good hand pass to Sheringham. Left foot kick going back. Podsiadly got a hand to it at the top of the square. But that's all he got. And that's gone through for a minor score to Geelong. The lead is 14 points, 94-80. 2.5 gone final.
Both the tools are actually Podsiadly and we're both in the best position in the market. They actually mucked each other up.
Guerra tries to go down the corridor. Free kick will go the way of the Hawks.
Going Suckling, I think, isn't it? Savage, sorry.
Got a push in the back. Gets the free kick. Goes to Mitchell. Mitchell in the left back pocket. The on-defensive 50 to Young. Young kicks to left half forward. Oh, Puopolo did well. Worked Taylor punt out from underneath it. Kicks towards full forward. There's a one-on-one there. Mackey got there first. Punches it over the behind line. Minor score. We're back to a 13-point game in favour of the Cats. 3 gone in the final term. Dangerous kick in. Just works out okay. Enright marks. Woo-hoo.
A little machine came at him.
Really, you need those new cars with the cameras at the back to know what's coming from behind.
Oh, you do.
Helps my wife with her parking, I know that much. Kelly told the play on, he had to be very quick. It's affected the kick, the tackle came late. It's now a Hawthorn football. Getting a little pressure there was Smith. Lost control of the footy. Goes again. Motlop went off the ground. Play on. Savage from 45. He's missed to the right. It's through for a minus score.
Yeah, is it back for a free kick? I think it was a throw off the ground. That's
okay,
scoop out
it
the
is,
back.
you're right.
Yes, I think it was. Sorry.
It is. It's coming back to centre half back. No, Parker, that's 100% correct.
Sorry.
It's going to Matthew Stokes at defensive 50.
And you always can measure the intensity of game by the defensive efforts, and Hawthorn a strong one-on-one.
Kickers inside the centre square. Flying Podsiadly and Hawkins, neither could mark. Young got it for the Hawks, kicked high up in the air. Again, no mark taken, but Sheringham emerges with it, kicks towards the wing. Duncan marks for the Cats to right half forward. Uncontested mark to Selwood. Wheels around quickly. He's too far out to score himself, but he'll put it up into the right forward pocket. In fact, he'll put it out of bounds.
That's un-Selwood-like. But you've seen where he'd run, though, to get that. I mean, he's covered 130 metres to work to get the ball in the first place. You can forgive him a bit for being exhausted and not being able to kick it well, but his work rate is second to none in the competition.
Free kick to Hale. To left half back, flying! And the pack of three, unable to take it, was Duncan. He gave himself a good ride. It's off hands and over the boundary line for a throw-in. Geelong still by 13 points. 5 gone, final term. Grandstand AFL.
Thrown in, Stevenson wins it down. Johnson a quick kick towards full forward. Schoenmakers fumbles. Can't take the mark. Now it's a live ball. Chapman tries to knock it out. He did so successfully, but now it's a Hawthorn football to Whitecross. Hand pass to Burgoyne. Now to Suckling. They're on the members' wing. Rioli, he's loose in the forward line. Suckling didn't see him. Broke 2 tackles anyway. Now to Smith. He breaks the tackle. Runs into a dead end. Hand passes to a Puopolo. And Puopolo knows. They have got that goal they needed. Puopolo's kicked his second, but they're in touching distance now. It's 7 points the difference. Geelong 14-10-94, Hawthorn 13-9-87, 6 gone, final term.
Am I right to say 3 young players run into a brick wall? They hung on to it and actually got into a very difficult position. Each in turn fed it off, put it to somebody slightly better position they were, and they got away with it. It was very brave, actually. I think Smith was one. Suckling was another one, I think, who actually carried the ball and got themselves a bit of trouble, but just lucky enough got themselves out. What do you reckon, Chris?
Well, I think Geelong have had the momentum. I think Hawthorn have had to work hard for their goals, but they can score decisively. But Geelong will need to win this game.
Roughhead wins the tap, stolen by Selwood for the Cats. Hand passes back to Johnson. Stevie J kicks inside the forward 50, battling away Smets versus Guerra. Oh, Guerra has just unleashed an elbow into Podsiadly. And that was crazy, because it has given the Cats a shot at goal from about 45 metres out, 45-degree angle left of centre. And it was unnecessary. And the Hawks are away anyway.
You'll be watching from the grandstands, I think. Sadly, just unnecessarily.
It's almost a bad habit where he wants to make physical contact, but just lifts that elbow a bit and puts him under pressure.
So when the Hawks had the momentum, a free kick to Podsiadly could change that. Kicks from 47 metres out. He'll make the Hawks pay for their indiscretion. The lead is back to 13 points. Podsiadly kicking truly his first of the evening. The Cats have brought up 100, 15-10, playing Hawthorn's 13-9-87, 7.5 gone in the final term. Grandstand AFL, our experts David Parkin and Chris Connolly.
Well, sorry, Chris.
It's the second time he's lifted his elbow. It's a bad habit. He's got a habit.
Well, and he's got a record a mile long, so he might be watching his mates play the rest of the year.
Yeah, look, he'll be fresh going into the finals, because the odds are that he's going to be under pressure the next few weeks, but it looks an habitual thing. And look, he wants to make contact, he wants his experienced players, but he's got to take that out of his game.
In the middle, Hale winning the tap for the Hawks. Still inside the centre circles, comes out towards Brewster, gets pushed in the back. And he'll take the free kick for the Hawks. Quick release, hand pass to Young, too quick. Young's kick was smothered. Still inside the centre square. Selwood gets tackled to the ground. The umpire will bounce it. Still inside the centre square. Selwood wanting a free kick for a high tackle. The umpire said no.
Hunter Shields should have got back off then and delivered it with feet. It was a silly hand pass.
It's bounced. Roughhead in the ruck, bashes it forward. Bruce got a bad bounce. It's now at the 50 though for the Hawks. Coming through Scarlett, rushes the kick. It's okay. Fellas to Christensen from the middle. Kicks towards the forward pocket. Hawkins and Podsiadly there. Hawkins leaves it for Podsiadly. Hand passes out to Bartel. Can't keep it in play. He held possession of the football, but his momentum carried him over the line for a throw-in. Left half forward for the Cats. Now 9 minutes gone, final term. Geelong by 13.
Ball put back into play, went over the top of both Walker and Roughhead, allowed Kelly to gather, sends it back inside the attacking 50 and finds big Tommy Hawkins, who worked his way to the front of the pack and was able to drag in the mark.
And he'll end up, seriously, we can say that before the game started, he'll end up being the difference between the two sides. One that Hawthorn don't have one like him in their front half, and Hawthorn don't have one big enough to control him in the back half. So it's a double-edged problem that Hawthorn have.
Just too strong to get in front of.
Absolutely, got to the drop zone, didn't he? Held his round and dropped into his bread basket.
He's been in terrific form, already with 3 tonight. This could be telling. Kicks on its way for Hawkins. He liked it. He's met by Geelong players. They've come from everywhere. His 4th of the evening. The lead is back out to a more comfortable for Geelong. 19 points. The Cats 16-10, 106. The Hawks 13-9, 87, 10 gone. Final term at the MCG.
And Geelong have taken 10 more contested marks today than the Hawthorn Footy Club. Now that is either in a situation where everyone's hitting the crumb pack situation and you can counter-attack, or it's a contested mark inside 50 like that mark was there. Whatever it is, it's going to create a scoring opportunity. 10 contested marks more Geelong to Hawthorn is going to make a big difference. Now, I know Hawthorn's dominated the ruck here, David, but that's not going to have the impact like contested marking.
2 to the Hawks, now 2 to the Cats in this final term. Hale gets a hand pass out towards Lewis. Knocked off the footy by Kelly. Kelly goes again, wins a hard footy. Now he's tackled. The ball didn't come out. The umpire looks and elects to call for a bounce. Front right corner of the square for Hawthorn. If you've just joined the coverage, Geelong led this game by 51 points at the 2-minute mark of the second term. Hawthorn's has come marching back but hasn't been able to get in front. Ball comes out to Shields for the Hawks. High kick towards the goal square. Off hands. Gunston's lurking. Mackie gets there first. Smith applies a big tackle. Comes to Gunston. Hand pass to Rioli. Rioli goals. Simple as that. Ball in Rioli's hands, close to goal. He's going to make it pay. He's got 2. The margin back to 13 points. Geelong still in front. 12 minutes gone, final quarter.
Well, Geelong's dominating the air in contested ball, but Hawthorn in the last 2 quarters have dominated the ground level, and they do back themselves in that area, so they usually have someone to get it out to. That was just a gutsy, repetitive chain of contested ball wins. Now, Geelong cannot allow that to continue to happen, David. There's 13, 14 minutes left in this game. Hawthorn are up and about at ground level, so that will always give them a chance to pin back this 13-point lead.
True, but Geelong, to this point, have been the better team.
Yep. Bounce the restart. Stevenson missed it. So too really did Hale. All shoveled off the ground by Johnson to Bartel. Puts the Cats towards centre half forward, where it takes the mark. And even though it's a Hawthorn home game, those who are Cats fans let him know what he's thought of a couple of indiscretions tonight. He'll kick towards centre wing. Shields marks, plays on. He's still going. Runs to 50. Kicks towards goal. He'll need something special from Cyril. He gets it too. He knocks it back into play. You are by Gunners. And from left full forward. No, misses. I was excited.
Yeah, that's.
I just saw the go umpire and then no, behind.
Well, Puopolo was just as excited as you, Clint.
Puopolo went running away. He thought he kicked it. Minor score. It's now 2 goals the difference in favour of the Cats.
So that's the one they wanted. It's the one they needed.
Mackie low down the line to Taylor Hunt, who marks and lands on his knee, takes a divot. He gets to his feet at right half back for the Cats. 13 minutes gone, final term now. The margin is 12 points. 65,287 is the crowd. So Tim Hodges estimated 65,000. It's 65,000.
Very good.
take him to the fate where you count the jelly beans in the jar. He'd be the man for the moment. Kick down towards the southern wing. It's been knocked out of play for a throw-in.
Well, they've got their money's worth. If it was to finish now, we'd be very satisfied what we've come and seen.
Thrown in. Hale reaches over the top, wins the tap, but then Stevenson the secondary tap. Mitchell comes in, applies a big tackle on Selwood, comes out to Lewis, hurries a kick towards half forward. Puopolo goes off the ground once and then again twice, gets it to the 50. Enright and Roughhead. Who gets there first? Roughhead does. Hand pass is a little slick for Bruce, but he's still okay to get it out to Roughhead, who sends it up to Gunston, who's marked at the 50.
13.5. I just measured 13.5 metres it went.
So Gunston had options further forward. They were a little dicey, and he said, no, I'll go back and take the shot. He is a good set shot kick, but the distance is going to test him. 51, he'll have to kick.
There's nobody on the line. That's what I can't for either side. There's nobody on the line right now. That's amazing to me.
Here he comes. Gunston's kick. He's timed it very well. Very, very well.
No wonder there was no one on the line.
It's a kick the difference. Geelong in front. 16-10-106. Hawthorn 15-10-100. We do have another Geelong Hawthorn epic. For to Gunston.
Well, they all knew, both his teammates and the opposition, he was going to kick it. There wasn't a single person on the line, Chris. I couldn't believe it.
And that's why he could end up a real weapon, because anywhere inside forward 50 is a chance to score, and that's what the great forwards are able to do. This game is up for grabs. There's plenty of time in this game for someone to grab the ascendancy.
Oof.
It's been breathtaking, hasn't it?
Oh, it has. And the conversion, too, for a game of this pressure has been good. 16-10, 15-10. Fantastic conversion in front half.
Hale waited, won the tap. Sewell went over it, missed it. Stolen by Kelly. Back to Mackie. Slapped it between his legs. Duncan hand passes up in the air. Stolen by Birchalites. Hand pass misses his target as well. So too Lonergan. Lonergan missed it once more. Allowed Gunston to kick high up in the air. Umpire spotted a free kick. It's a push out.
Good decision.
Now you've got to remember, Hawthorn's outscored Geelong by about 7 goals, or 6 or 7 goals since quarter time. I mean, they've got scoreboard momentum.
Smith, the cross half forward, just inside attacking 50. White cross mark.
Well, that's gone seriously off the boot. That's gone 55 metres, almost at right angles across the corridor to find his teammate Whitecross. 5 or 6 metres inside their 50. That is a brilliant kick in the season. I thought it was a very stupid, but a very brave and very capable kick.
And Isaac Smith has been criticised for his disposal, but that was a match-winning kick inside 50.
Gee, to be brave enough to attempt it, let alone execute it.
Whitecross is 8 goals, 6 for the season. This would be the biggest kick that he's had, and he makes it count. What an amazing comeback it's been from the Hawks. Down by 51 points in the second term. We're back to where we started. It's locked up at the 17-minute mark of the final quarter. Hawthorn and Geelong, 16-10, 106. And you said it, Whitey, we've got an epic on Grandstand AFL.
And Whitey said Hawthorn could win. They've outscored Geelong by 51 points. Now
Since the 3-minute mark
of the second quarter. So they've got all the momentum when it comes down to the scoreboard and things that count, and there have been 2 magnificent conversions.
What I didn't like was the way they celebrated. It was almost they won the game and they climbed up the steeple to get on top of each other. I didn't like that, Chris.
It's nearly 18 minutes gone in the final quarter, but there's still half the quarter to go. Stevenson for the Cats takes it out of the centre, kicks out towards the members' half-forward flank. Duncan in front. Tried to paddle it to a teammate unsuccessfully. Selwood jumped into the pack, applied a big tackle, will be bounced near the AFL logo members' side.
Good decision not to give the first one in the back to them, and the second one to us. Good umpiring that.
Umpire Brett Roseberry, one of the best in the business. He bounces the football. One down by Hale. Look for Lewis, but Kelly read it well. Gets a hurried left foot kick towards Podsiadly against Gibson. Gibson did spoil. Stratton in support. Gibson with a hand pass to Guerra. Now to Schoenmakers. Goes out to a one-on-one. Smith versus Mackie. Mackie pushes Smith out. Free kick again to Smith. He'll take this one defensive wing.
Come on, get the ball, son. Stop arguing with the umpire. That's carrying on.
Smith will go wide with a 20-metre short pass, and that's okay, and it's taken for the Hawks by Young. Goes further forward. They're lining up Hawthorn inside 50. The kick from Savage. Slipping over at the critical moment was Gunston in the forward pocket. And it's gone out of play for a throw in. 25, 30 metres around from Hawthorn's goal in their left forward pocket.
Ball back into play. Stevenson got the touch. Rioli was lurking, couldn't get there. Enright sees it towards the boundary, taps it along the line, and then is happy to take it back out. He's made about 15 metres. Another throw in.
It could be very demoralising stuff if Geelong were to go under in terms of the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Hale and Stevenson. Hale again with the telling tap. Taken by Chapman for the Cats. Towards right half back, sliding out. That's a good mark,
wasn't it?
He got to it.
Young Walker, you reckon? No, Duncan, was it?
No, Walker, you're right. It was Walker. Saw him at full stretch.
I like him.
Goes short again to Chapman.
Plays like his grandfather. That's how old I am.
Peter Walker, of course.
Yes, played with his grandfather.
He's a Cats premiership defender.
Good play.
So Josh Walker towards right half forward. Pontiadli was up at the back. Hawkins tried to work it to his own advantage. Lewis dived out. It came to the Hawks. Burgoyne hand pass to Gibson. Hand pass towards the boundary line again. Sewell was there. Selwood happy to see it over, putting the pressure on. We've got a throw in just forward of the wing.
I'll tell you
Scores 11.
Who's been impressive? Sean Burgoyne has gone into the centre for this game. Now, I've seen Sean with Cameron Smith over at Amy's Park. So he's taking on the leader responsibility.
Clearance to the Hawks. Rioli kicking to open territory. Just inside the 50, it bounces. Taylor first there for the Cats. Gunston takes him out of play.
What a great... Like Rioli's been with the Melbourne Storm as well.
40-20
touch.
It's a good field position for the Hawthorn Football Club.
Inside the 50, left forward pocket, thrown in. Hawks to the city end. Shields takes it. Hand passes to Sewell. Tackled off his kick. Still under a pile of bodies at the moment, the footy. Comes out towards Kelly. Jars free. Gunston, he can't get an effective disposal. Comes to Stevenson of the Cats. Kicks it out of the congestion. Could be coming back. Suckling. Little iffy handball under pressure. Now he runs into trouble. Falls to the Cats and falls to Kelly. Up towards Hawkins, who marks on the southern wing. One-on-one against Schoenmakers. They're lining up in the middle of the Cats. But Hawkins goes long towards the half-forward flank. Stokes up in the pack. Can't take the mark. Motlop comes late for support. Big tackle from Motlop. Tackles his opponent over the football, over the boundary in Stratton, and will be thrown in 50 out from Geelong's goal on the southern side.
Great call, wasn't it? Three of them were coming down the corridor. You saw it. Hawkins didn't see them.
From the throw in, Hawkins does win it down. Gave it out to Selwood, now to Smets, to Kelly. Kelly puts it to the top of the goal square. Players go to ground. Bartel was there, wrestling away against Wera. He wanted something. The umpire said, no way. It's over for a boundary throw-in.
I tell you, would have been paid in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Very valid point. Back into play again. Front position, Roughhead. Ball to Deck. Slapped out. Lewis might have been tackled without it. Umpire thought it was okay. Burgoyne's kick, smothered, tackled the ground, Schoenmakers, he lost possession. Clearing kick eventually comes to the Hawks towards centre wing. Shields was the man with it, and it's been marked now by Taylor.
Again, and again, and again.
I won't give you a rap because I'm afraid what he'll do, but this kick's pretty good from Harry Taylor. Long inside attacking 50, Pontiadli went up, couldn't take the mark, spilled down to Suckling. Pontiadli affects the tackle. There's a bounce deep inside. The Cats attacking 50. Scores a level. 22:45 gone on the clock here at the MCG on Friday Night Football.
It's bounced. One down by Roughhead. Bartel sharks it, but he's tackled by two Hawks. And it'll be bounced again, just 15 metres out from the punt road end.
Put your prediction on the table.
I've made mine. I'm not changing.
Clint.
Cats.
Bounce. Roughhead wins the tap. Spikes at 30 metres Hawthorn's way, but Smets is there. dispossessed. Hawthorn footy, Sewell hand pass to Roughhead, spirals the ball to the members wing. Lonergan cuts it off, gets away from Hale. Centering ball is a good one into the centre square to Mackie. Hand pass releases the run of Enright. Goes to centre half forward. Wants Chapman. Stratton read it well. Did defend very well, but then lost the footy. Stokes hand pass to Smets for the Cats. On the bounce to Mackie. Hand pass to Chapman. He's in trouble. Has to hand pass back to Smets. He's also in trouble. Holding the football. Quick release. Savage hand pass out to Whitecross. He marks, but he must hold up. No Hawthorn player ahead of him down the southern side.
Good running. Good running by Smith. He's worked really hard then. I thought the kid might have been falling away in the endurance stakes, but he found another bit to get the lead in.
Kick for the Hawks.
You know, in those last 3 kicks, Uriel
Left
has a
half
move.
forward. Goes inside attacking. 50. Stretching Hale in front. Enright sees it over the boundary line. Worth mentioning, this is game 150 between these two clubs. There's been one draw in all that time. Round 7 of 1963 back at Cardinia Park.
I played in it.
Thrown in. Stevenson tapped it down. Kick comes towards goal. The Hawks have made it count. And Sewell has emerged as the player to put them in front for the first time in the contest. 24 minutes gone. In the final term, it's the Hawks 17-10, 112. Geelong 16-10, 106. Amazing. Simply amazing on Friday night football.
Well, Chris Conley, you're the maestro of momentum. You read this from the 6-minute mark of the second quarter. I dipped my lid. I bowed for your better judgment.
Look,
and I was going home. I would have missed all this.
Or me?
Oh, sorry.
No,
you did it before the game had started, mate. That's only guessing.
Look,
he's done it once he's seen the action.
Game's still going. 25 gone, final term. Roughhead out of the middle. Kicks towards centre half forward for the Hawks. Burgoyne there, but Enright. Strong mark by the Cats defender. Kicks out to the southern wing. Smets presents, bounces on his chest. It's paid. It then bounced off his chest. But the umpire said he held it for long enough.
Savage had to go then, as hard as it was, he just had to go.
Smets out wide towards Podsiadly. Gibson gets the spoil in, looking for the boundary. It stays in play. Gibson's then tackled by Podsiadly. And the umpire now has to come in and call for a bounce very close to the boundary. 75 out from the Cats' goal.
What do you reckon? How long we got? A couple of minutes?
4 and a half minutes.
And Hawthorn have been outstanding in the clearance area.
Clearances at the moment, Hawthorn's way, 40 to 37. It's the important clearances, and this is one of them. And Sewell breaks clear for the Hawks. He kicks towards the southern wing. Low down, Hale couldn't mark. Front and centre, Burgoyne. Oh, there's one out the back. It's Bruce. It bounces very well. He runs to 45. He runs to 40. He kicks. He misses.
It's a very important point.
He misses to the right.
But they've got the ball.
It's Hawthorn by 7 points, nearly 27 gone in the final term.
The short pass was really dangerous. Lonergan couldn't mark it off the Taylor Hunt kick in. He's under real pressure. Hand passes to Enright. He gets tackled. Hand passes looking for Sheridan. Lewis tackles him. Ball spills free. He'll dive out over the top. Now Chapman can't get it out. It'll come to Hale. Hale will kick towards goal. Hale will kick the goal.
Hand on it.
No touch. 27 gone, it's now the Hawks by 8.
And the quick release from the Cats. Stokes couldn't mark. Christensen's tackled by Roughhead. Loose footy. Hale with it for the Hawks. Hand passes it out. Oh, under enormous pressure, Young. Hand pass straight to Chapman. Chapman spirals it back towards the southern wing. Gibson one-on-one with Podsiadly. Neither could mark. Cats footy. Handballs out in towards the path of the Cats as they run forward. Loose footy though. Birchall's hand pass knocked down by Smets to Hawkins. Snaps to a vacant goal and he's got it. He has kicked it. Back to 2 points. Tom Hawkins has now kicked 5 goals, 2 in this final term, against the trend. Hawthorn had kicked 4 in a row until Hawkins kicked that one.
Well, whichever go, we'd say we're being smart now, can't we? Whichever way the game goes, this has been one of the greatest games of football that I think we've ever had the pleasure of watching.
No, it's been a ripper. And it's going to be an exciting finish, and there's going to be a hero, and there's going to be a moment, and that's what it set itself up to be. It's just over 3 minutes to go, 2 points the difference, and we'll see the best of both teams now.
65,287 treated to this spectacle. Hale tapped it into Burgoyne, gathered again, kick goes past Rioli, Enright gathers, Rioli tackles him. Ball spills out. Is it coming out of a bit tackle players? No, ball it up. Kelly up along Sewell. No one was going to give up that fight.
Where Hawthorn do get an advantage, they've got their palm on the ball with the ruck contest a lot more.
Hawks by 2 points, 28 and a bit gone. Scarlett up, dumps it forward. Bartel helps it on its way. Mitchell back, gathers the footy for the Hawks. Kicks towards the outer wing. Ball bounce in front of Whitecross. He'll run onto it. He's got to get around Lonergan. He gets boot the ball into the left forward pocket. Ball out to bounce. Taylor will get there first for the Cats. Taps it towards goal. Clever play. Because they'll get the kick in and they'll try to move it really quickly now.
That's the call. Well done.
3 points the difference. It won't be a draw. Enright, long kick inside the centre square, but Hale's mark. Burgoyne all alone at right half forward, but Hale saw him but didn't go to him. Young out on the members' wing. He goes in that direction and Young takes the mark. Just forward of the members' wing.
Use it smartly, son. Don't just bomb it.
He didn't have to kick down the middle. There's plenty of time. The runner needs to get out and give him a feel for it.
It says 30 minutes on the clock. As Young kicks it back inside the 50, Roughhead's there, breaks the pack. Savage front and centre, may have been tackled high. Umpire said play on. Rioli, hand pass to Puopolo, deep into the pocket. Bruce went without the football. Now a Geelong ball. Kelly for the Cats, towards half-back. Mitchell irons out Selwood. Bartel's kick was smothered. Still a loose footy, 50 out from Geelong's goal. Hunt there for the Cats. Hand pass straight back into trouble. Goes again. Big tackles applied by the Hawks half-forward line. Smith goes in for the Hawks. 50 metres out, bounced.
What about the Selwood-Mitchell hit? Straight up Selwood got. He got hit like a ski train coming the other way, and he didn't lay there. He bounced up and went after the ball. That is brilliant leadership of the team.
Tim Hodges.
Gee, you don't want to lose Sam Mitchell from your clearance here, David.
This is a real problem. Mitchell has claret pouring from his nose.
That was a fantastic clearance win to get the ball forward out of the centre by Mitchell.
Shields is on. Long round of applause.
You can't bounce up to the up. You can't bounce it up. That's real. You can't do that. Oh, yes. Right now.
So, everyone goes at it. Comes down to Sewell again. He'll kick towards full forward. No mark taken. Lewis charging through. Slaps it between his legs. Taylor tries to lock it in. Emerging with it, Puopolo. Wasn't going anywhere. He was tackled very strongly, umpire says. We'll have a bounce.
Always in this scenario, a point gives you a good look at goal.
Yes,
Geelong should get the ball, kick a point.
Yeah.
From the bounce once more. Taylor against Hale. The Cats can come away with it. Ducking run down by Rioli. Ball jarred out. Comes back to Young. Young for the Hawks. Snaps around the body. It'll hit the post. That'll do the Cats just fine.
Oh, they're going to get a good look here.
4 points the lead to the Hawks. Long kick down the middle. Selwood was the target. Sewell with the spoil at the 50. Podsiadly now for Geelong. Tries to get a hand pass away but can't, holding the footy. Sewell decided to take the advantage. Hand pass to Lewis under pressure. Bouncing football from Lewis. Bouncing really well to Puopolo. Goes with the scissor. Keeps it in play. Mackie takes it for the Cats. He kicks it out to Duncan on the second bounce. He goes short down the line and it's Steve Johnson. He's at half back. Kicks to the middle. Crucial ball here. Selwood stands tall. Takes the mark. Kicks the Hawkins. Hawkins has marked it at the 50. Now, there is time left. 32 and a half minutes remaining. The runner has gone out to Hawkins. So now Hawkins knows how long he's left. He puts the ball on the ground.
So this is the
he
last
wipes
kick.
his palms.
He's doing the right thing.
Yeah, taking the time.
Hawkins starts his approach. He'll have to kick it 52 metres. He's straight in front to the punt road end. The siren sounds. The ball goes on and on and on. And it's gone home for a goal. The curse remains. The Cats reign supreme at the MCG again. still there. And Hawkins kicked 6 of the very best. And we have seen one of the very best. I could watch these two teams play every day of the year.
Well, that's interesting. Not interesting. Every single Hawthorn player has dropped where they were when the ball went through. They're just lying on the ground, absolutely mentally and physically exhausted. Every Geelong player ran and they met just outside their forward 50 and they all careered into the air. A bit like the celebration I saw Hawthorn do a little while ago, which I wasn't very happy with because they hadn't won the game. Just kicked a goal that got them to them. But I think, I might be contradicted here, I think that the better team, not for longer, Chris, not for longer, because Hawthorn actually played the better football for longer tonight, but weren't able to get over the line in the finish. And it was a bit sad they didn't lock it in down here. They needed to lock it in at the finish, so not give the ball up. So fantastic. People who've watched it, I guess, have come to the ground and attended this would be absolutely delighted. Hawthorn people will be disappointed because they worked so hard to get back into a game which was really gone by quarter time. Sensational exhibition of our game. If you're a visitor from overseas and you came here tonight, you'd be privileged.
One of the great games of footy. Geelong winning by 2 points. It was stunning. The goal kickers to go through them. Tom Hawkins, David Parkin said at the start of the game, he might be the difference. He was absolutely spot on, kicking the winning goal. 6 goals for him, 4 to Chapman, Johnson with 2, Duncan with 2, Podsiadly, Christensen, Mackey and Walker, all with 1 apiece. For the Hawks, Gunston with 4, 2 to Rioli, 2 to Bruce, 2 to Puopolo, 2 to Burgoyne. And in the singles, Hale, Lewis, Sewell, Roughhead, Whitecross. Geelong, 18-10, 118 to Hawthorn, 17-14, 116. 9 straight now for Geelong over the Hawks. Gentlemen, we very quickly need to go through your best players and the votes.
Well, you're happy to do the votes, Chris. You're very good at the votes. Look, this was one of the more even performances. There were a few dragging the chain, particularly at Hawthorn in the first half of this game. But some of their players who do rely, I guess, the set-up players who do rely on the ball certainly got more of it. But they had a fantastic top end. Selwood was just magnificent. The way he bounced up, that's the best piece of leadership at the moment when it was required. And Selwood had every right to lay on the ground and suck it in after being taken out by Mitchell. Johnson, on the back of having been concussed last week, come up and perform. Duncan continues to impress me, the young player, and Kelly led from start to finish. He was one of the most consistent players. Billy Smets, other than his kicking, has become a real good player. And look, the list goes on. They all contributed at some stage, certainly some better than others, but Geelong will be very pleased where they've come from in the last month. Sewell, Mitchell, Burgoyne. Roughhead is becoming a very talented player, both on the ball, not very talented, but he's become a very consistent player, both as a ruckman and as a forward. Youngie did a terrific job on one wing. Smith got a bit more of the ball. At the bottom end, probably Gibson didn't influence the game much with except for a few scores. Hodge was fairly ineffectual for the time he was on the ground. And Stratton and Schoenmaker sadly didn't have much of the ball, 6 and 4 each, and they were against the players who in the finish made the difference. Podsiadly was a terrific target and contested well, but the difference, no doubt, we nominated before the game, but at the finish of the game, not only the difference that he had to kick the ball on the siren from 55 out, he was the best forward, the best contested mark player of either side for the whole game, and he was the difference.
Yeah, look, 1 vote to Sam Mitchell. You know, what the odds? Sam Mitchell, your great player, gets a cut in the eye and comes off for the last 90 seconds when the game slips away. But fantastic on all fronts. He started outside the centre square at the start, but made his way into the game. 2 votes to Joel Selwood. Sensational leadership. Some of the things that he doesn't come up in the score sheet, like David's call on his contested possession. But Tom Hawkins, 6 goals, 1 after the siren. Very difficult kick too. Oh. One of the more difficult kicks we've ever seen after siren. 3 votes to Tommy Hawkins. He has come of age.
Chris Connolly, David Parkin, thank you for your company. It was a privilege to broadcast this with Adam White on Grandstand AFL. About to head back to the Olympics, but when it comes to drama, any sporting contest anywhere in the world, this would have matched it. An epic performance by the Cats. in the end to win by 2 points. But the Hawks gave it everything. Geelong 18-10, 118. The Hawks 17-14, 116.